Hello, hello, Twitch chat. How are you? Welcome back to another exciting day of Nova Cup games. I hope you all enjoyed the show yesterday. I know those were some very, very interesting games, and we're going to have some absolutely banging games kicking off today, right from the very start, because we're going to be casting the Bearded Dragons, that's Drakir and Lucy, up against X Crash, which is Ashton Butcher, and X God. So both of those teams composed entirely of previous Nova Cup winners, and this is going to be one heck of a show. With me on the cast today, I have Offma, who's been here a few times, and a very special co-caster who I've been trying to get on the Nova Cup cast for a very long time. He's never been available. He is now, just for this special bonus weekend with all of the new players, and it's Adams. Adams, welcome to the cast.
Oh, hello. Thanks for having me here,
Uh,
and I'm really excited for this cast.
Awesome, dude. I'm very excited to have you here as well. So, guys, what do you think about this first match then? Drakir and Lucy, they've won the last, what is it, 3 or 4 in a row? I know Drakir has at least. And they're playing Ashton and X God, who haven't won for a few months, but they did win something like 4 out of the 11 months last year as well. So these are both really serious teams, very top tier. Do you guys have a favourite here? Like, who do you think's going to come out on top?
Well, I think if I were to say a favorite, I would always have to go with Drakir and Lucy, just
Mhm.
because, they are the previous winners. But I wouldn't count Axel and Ashen out by any means because I think in that special Nekomata Cup that was like for the other time region,
Mhm.
I think X-God and Ashen actually beat them 3-1 in a
Ooh.
best of five. So they're certainly capable of doing it.
Yeah, they can throw an upset in there for sure. But yeah, I think just going on current form, Drakir and Lucy probably do have the edge because they seem to be absolutely steamrolling the competition lately. But it really is, anyone can take this for sure. There's maybe like a 5% edge in favour of Drakir and Lucy, but X God and Ashton are extremely talented opponents as well.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be very close games, and I think the X-God and Ashton could be the worst enemies for Lucy and Drakir, especially in best of three. I think
Mhm.
they can definitely like take the 2 games when they allowed to Ashton to pop off and just snowball the game. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna closely watch how they're gonna approach this situation, because I also don't know how X-God is gonna play this game, because he was sometimes enabling Ashton so hard, but
Yeah.
in the last cups I think they was playing more income heavy, also on X-God side, so I'm curious if they're gonna change this.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one for sure. And like you say, like Ashton is maybe the most dangerous player in the whole of Legion TD2. When he gets rolling, that guy just becomes a juggernaut, right? Like when he gets his workers going, he gets his income going, he just snowballs harder than maybe anybody else in the game. So if Ashton becomes an Ashton problem for Drakir and Lucy, they might just lose control of the game. So that'll be really interesting to see if Ashton can get himself into that carry position. He is probably the scariest player around from that point of view.
And yesterday he even added a little mix-up where he picked Fiesta after against Witter King. I think in their game three, yeah, he played Fiesta, but I think he was a little out of practice because he held on one with Pixie. But he still managed to have a pretty insane game and was almost able to win that one. And I think, like you mentioned, that they are playing a bit more income in the games that I watch from them. They aren't. Exot isn't like literally giga starving his opponent the whole game, but he is still playing the same style where he is a bit more overbuilt and going for more skips than Ashton, and maybe not just setting power marks, but just setting some income, but still trying his best to at least give Ashton some space to play the game.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. I know one thing that I was really impressed with Ashton and Xgord a few months ago was when the the ramping worker change first came in, these guys adapted to that better than any other team, I think. And they went for some really, really aggressive, like wave 11, 12, just full pushes, just trying to close out the game. And they really made use of that kind of increased worker turnover after wave 11, and just kind of defined the meta from that point on. So these guys, they're trendsetters, they're innovators, and I think they can put up a hell of a fight against Drakir and Lucy for sure.
I think me and Adams were actually one of their first victims after the change.
Oh, really?
Back in I don't know, like February or something. I think
You guys played together, of course. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah.
It's more than 1 year ago, I think. But we played like 1 or 2 games, and we lost some unfortunate games. But on quick note, I see the stream is going, and I see my picture, and I see that you already want to tilt me a little bit, because I see this, not the dices, but the Czech flag behind it, since I'm not Czech.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, where are you from?
Oh, you should know already.
But your flag in game is Czech.
Yes. I live here.
Okay. I see. So it's picking up your country, but not your place of birth.
Yes. That's fine though.
Okay. We'll let it slide.
This time.
Are you Slovenian, Adams?
No.
Okay.
Slovakia.
I knew it was an S. I think it may be too late to change that right now, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll make do with your country of residence, shall we?
Yes.
And you're not tilted by the dice. You're just going to own the nice luck over there, yeah?
That's perfect. The dice is perfect.
But Adam, so you were talking about maybe not having the most successful tournament run together with Ofma, but you've been performing very well in the last couple of months. I know you and Chuvis have been second place. Is it the last 2 or 3 months in a row?
Every time I played with Chuvis, we was second place.
Yeah.
We always reached the finals, but
always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Yeah.
Yes. So very good results, but not a winner yet.
Yeah. But I mean, just the fact that you are consistently reaching the grand finals clearly shows that you have a very good understanding of Legion, you know what you're about, and a very strong player as well. So it's going to be really interesting to have your insights on the cast today.
Yes, I'll take some notes from the winners this time.
But you should probably be able to call out the sort of things that the players are thinking about when they go through the various stages, because you'll understand as well the pressure when players get into the 3rd game or the 5th game in the grand finals, and just how you're going to overcome your nerves, I guess, to make sure that you're focused on the game and just always performing at the top level. Because that's got to be a challenge, right? Like when you're in game number 5 of the grand finals and there's a bunch of money on the line, there's a bunch of people watching, and every tiny decision really matters, so you have to be able to keep a cool head, right?
Yeah, I think the pressure starts when you got small mistakes in the early game or something, and you are leaking quite a big time in the first waves, and then it snowballs so hard, and you're just starting to struggle a little bit, and maybe forcing some mistakes that you send when you shouldn't, and this kind of the things. So you need to really keep your you need to focus on the early game a lot in the last matches.
Yeah. I mean, Legion is very early game focused in general, I think. Obviously, the mid-game decision-makings look more impactful because one wrong send or one skip when you can't afford to kind of thing is often game-losing. But a lot of the time, games can be decided in the early game because it's about how well you set yourself up to succeed when you get to that late-game stage, right? And the team that gets a bit of an edge in the early game can really oftentimes pull ahead and solidify that into a victory when you get into the mid to late game stages.
Yeah, and I think if a team knows about early game, it's definitely Drak and Lucy. I think Drak is very aware of how to create a small early game advantage with big sends on 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're definitely a team, at least last Nova Cup, that I mean, a very common pattern is like sending 3, sending income 5, and um, they're I think Drac is definitely willing to think a bit more about when he's incoming on those first few waves.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Drakir, he's certainly a bit of a cringe lord, right? Like, he does like to go for his early game starves, and I think we'll probably see a little bit of that today. But again, if they do go for a more income-heavy playstyle, Ashton is really the player who can take advantage of that. So, but guys, enough chatter, because the moment you've been waiting for is here at last. Game number 1 of your July Nova Cup semi-finals is underway. Let's go!
Let's go.
Whoa.
We can already see
YOLO.
the giant snails as the spell, aggressive spell, but it's following by the 2 very defensive spells, so it's not gonna be that appealing to pick the giant snails.
I wonder
Yeah,
if we'll see the Drakir classic Giant Snail on 11 recent.
yeah, that's pretty solid, right? So you go for like a big send on wave 10, hope to get some damage done there, and then you hope that your opponent just full pushes where you resend the 160 Mythium worth of giant snails, get a big leak.
Yes, that's actually a very smart play, but let's see if the rolls gonna super this, because I see the Priestess and LOD for Drakir and Lucy, so they can set up very well.
Yep.
Yeah. Drakir has Growl Egg. I know he actually really likes it. I wonder if he's gonna play it. But he also has Nightmare Oathbreaker, so maybe.
Hexac start just feels so slow to me at the moment. Like, it feels very difficult to play, especially in a tournament scenario where the early game is so important. Like, staying on 2 or 3 workers for 3 waves is just really bad.
Yeah, I think he would only do it if he had Sea Dragon, which I think you can get 3 workers and hold to 60 with. So, but he's just gonna play Nightmare Oath.
Meanwhile, Ashton, it looks like, has a very early game focused role with the atoms, with the warg, with the maybe we get some kingpin action over there as well.
Well, fortunately, I don't think he picked it himself. I think the game handed it to
Yeah, that is a YOLO.
him.
It's very good YOLO roll, right? At least for
Yeah.
early game, like first, like, I don't know, 10 waves, he can cover everything. So
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
really nice roll. But overall, everybody has like good roll early game, so I'm gonna expect heavy push this game and a lot of workers. We can already
Yeah.
see 6 workers on XGod.
Oh, that is really nice, actually. The cartel with the Treant as well, which is just so strong for the first couple of waves. That's pretty. I mean, that's pretty aggressive. He will leak here on wave 2 to no send.
I think he holds no scent, but he's leaking Snail, if I'm
Yeah.
not correct.
I think I've seen with Mask you leak 1 creep. So it's actually pretty good Fiesta. But
Okay, okay.
I don't know how it is with PB.
Mask should be better, right? Especially if it changes a threshold somehow for the Treant. But let's
Yeah.
find out.
But yeah, even though like already big gamble, and even if it's leaking, it's gonna be long wave, and we will see a lot of big sends and maybe a lot of leaks early game as well.
Yeah.
It's this 6 workers, but
Oh, it is a
looks
hold.
like it's holding.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Now we do get 40 cents coming out from Drakir, XGod, and Ashton. Lucy, the only player so far to save her Mythium here. Oh, a second Treant. Yeah, that's interesting. Meanwhile, Ashton, and going back to Ashton's YOLO roll, by the way, I actually think this is one of the better YOLO rolls when you have all of that early game focus. Because YOLO, of course, you lose the income when you reroll, so having a strong early game roll is really, really beneficial. And then you just reroll, you know, on wave 10, wave 11, something like that. But you've already had the bonus income throughout the entire early game.
Yeah, it's pretty insane how fast YOLO can get off the ground. I mean, if you ever play against Ashton, you'll know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Ashton is not getting sense, so he can't really take advantage right now and like push heavily, because if he got the income here, he could push very hard. But instead of this, he is forced to stay 5 workers and just build for next wave.
And we do see Lucy sending this Dino here on wave 4, which Ashton may have trouble killing, but I think he just has more than enough value, really. He's going to be on, what is it, over 400 value when he finishes building?
Yeah.
It should be more than fine. It's the double work there and good DPS in atoms.
Yeah, unless his atoms magically die, then he could be in trouble, but otherwise he should be fine.
I think the wargs should be close enough, but they might be a little bit exposed. We're about to find out.
He did greet them a bit harder than I think normally people do, but
I mean, this just looks perfect. The way that his units are sharing aggro here is really, really good for him. One atom's going to die, but it's done its job.
I think the next send that we're gonna see is probably Drakon to X-God.
Yeah, here it comes on wave 5.
Gonna be Snails, but they're pretty good against the False Maiden, and Lucy's actually pro leaking to
Oh.
the Fiend.
I think, yeah, this is going to be a 1 creep leak here from FC Lucy. This is really, really good, actually. Because she got the 60 cent here. Leaking a single creep is just perfect for her, especially when Drakir is saving onto X-God.
Yeah, Lucy's pushing gate workers, maybe 9.
Oh, wow.
Okay, not 9.
She stays on 8, but they're still pretty solid. Meanwhile, X-God, he knows the send is coming here. He does just drop the Desert Pilgrim, which is a really good unit on wave 5, especially with this positioning. It's going to tank the boss, and basically mean the boss does 0 damage effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also snails. Not sure how strong are the snails, but it's just income, so it should be fine. Like Drahir could go for like Hermit and try Accent if he was expecting to upgrade this tree into exploding one, right?
Yeah, I think the exploding tree just one-shots the wave, though, so I think the Hermit probably not a great send if he was expecting that.
Yeah.
I think the snails are pretty fine.
I think he might not have realized Lucy's in a pro league and that he'd get 100.
Oh, I think the Cannoneer, Cannoneer would have been lovely.
But
like this, I mean, X-God's just holding, and he's pretty fine with this.
Yeah, that was actually a good spot. The Cannoneer will be very strong send here.
And we were talking about the Ashton problem, by the way. He is already pulling ahead of the competition. He's on 10 workers now, everybody else on 9. So it's still a fairly high worker game overall. But yeah, in this sort of situation, Ashton really is one to watch out for.
Yeah, he is going to have a weak wave coming up, though. Doesn't have amazing units, but maybe just enough with the atoms and the vets that he'll build for 7.
Atoms are just...
Ashton is only sending 60 here. That's very good, because if he decides to full send here and spend all his Mythium, then Drahir could like full push and just stay on his value and be like 14 workers. And like this, he can still pressure him a little bit on 8, maybe resend on 7.
Yeah, pretty solid, right?
He's just incoming.
Yeah, the drip income is something that I think is very, very popular at in the tournament games, to just try and make your opponents think a little bit more about how much myth you really have left and whether you're going to go for full send in 2 waves or you're just going to send income again. But it's going to be tryhard sends here and saves from X-God and Ash.
Okay, so the double brute here is looking a little bit threatening against Ashton. He has 180 gold to spend, but not really anything perfect to spend it on. He's got 1 veteran here. He can't afford another one, though.
Yeah, is it just another Atom?
Oh, he has rerolled now, okay. And he did find some top end as well in his role. He's got the banana bunk there. He's got, I mean, the halo as well, pretty good on covering wave 13 and 18 where the Haven is weak. Oh, but 3 brutes here is going to cause some issues for Ashton Butcher. I think this is going to be a pretty big leak here on wave 7.
See what X-God can do. He's prepping next wave with the
X-God should be fine here. This Pilgrim just staying on super low HP is really perfect for him. That's going to be a hold from X-God. Ashton, meanwhile, that is not a hold. That's a 91% leak here for Ashton Butcher. FC Lucy really trying to keep Ashton under control now. Yeah, so nice that X-God is able to hold. He'll be able to cover a little bit in the middle at least, but they're still going to take some king damage here. So First Blood does go to the side of the Bearded Dragons here on wave 7.
Yeah, I do think this counterpunch is going to be pretty hard.
Oh yeah, I mean, X-God has 260 Mythium, Ashton has 200 as well. This is going to be pretty insane when it comes. Oh,
alright, it's going here.
Ogres on wave 8. What do you think about that, guys?
Pretty OP versus these builds. This guy is just too tanky for most builds, especially Nightmare.
Just very, very difficult to kill.
very often just penny leak the ogre.
Drakir is also trying to pull the sand on the left so he can focus it with his nightmares and
Yeah.
magic damage. So whatever it comes, he can kill as fast as possible.
But
Yeah, that's
those
like
nightmares
a-
are really going to struggle to kill an ogre, aren't they?
Yeah, it's an important thing to do on ranged waves actually, to pull big stuff left. Normally when you have you want upper split to send stuff away from your main damage, but on a ranged wave it's important to have your melees and your ranged units hit together.
The ogre does go down in Drakir's lane, but meanwhile in Lucy's lane, not so lucky. 113% leak for FC Lucy. Drakir, he is doing better, but he's not going to hold either. This is a 67% leak, and yeah, you guys were talking about the counterpunch. Here it comes. They're about to take a ton of king damage here on wave 8.
Yeah, that hold from X-God on 7 was super important, and he did it while saving a lot, so really nice setup for him.
Such a
Oh,
nice
wow.
place by Xgod and Ashton here, and it allows them to push even harder. They are now in one-shot range, so they can do pretty much everything they want. Like they can skip the save if needed with their king HP, and they can aim for some final blow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something on wave. Maybe 11, but that can be hard against a Hades possibility from Drakir. If they wanted, they could even just go straight 13 now. They're in such a strong position.
Yeah.
They probably pushed too much for 13, but let's see.
No, they have some serious worker numbers, actually. 15 for X-God, 16 for Ashton. Drakir and Lucy not far behind with 15 and 14, but the economic lead that Ashton and X-God are generating is really setting them up for success here. They've had a fantastic early game so far.
They could send here, to be honest.
Yeah. And Drakir and Lucy, they will go for the wave 10 send, so interesting now whether or not X-God and Ashton decide to match it.
I think they will.
X-God
They-
has Fada without income, I think, so he
They
might
do
just
save, yeah. So X-God with the Fatalizer feeling very confident here on wave 10, and with good reason. He's really strong. Fatalizer is absolutely insane on wave 10. He has very few tanks in front of it, though, so this might even be a leak with the Fatalizer here. Be interesting to see whether or not the Fatalizer snipes out that Mimic.
Yeah, the Mimic can be enough to kill the Fada in time with the boss, but it'll be close either way, and Drek doesn't have a Brute to send with the Mimic to send it all the way right, so it might just get sniped.
I mean, let's see. He has got the
help
box
of
Mimic
Fatalizer.
skin. Yeah, the mask is bringing it low, but the Fatalizer, it looks like, is straight onto the boss. This is important now. Can the Fatalizer kill the Grandaddy, or will it be a leak? I mean, it's really ramping now, and the Grandaddy does go down at the same time as the Mimic, so that's a hold there from X-God. Meanwhile, Ashton's sure he's leaking, but with X-God holding, this is just really good for them, because they're still saving Mythium. They have 320 each already on the side of X-God and Ashton.
Yeah, I'm interested what they are gonna do. Like the Mythium is so massive, but there is also few Dark Rituals, but I think they still just go and go big sand. But
Yeah.
the question is if they go 13 or 12. Maybe he was calling 13 on wave 8 and it was all calculated, so let's see.
Yeah. And
Yeah, my instinct was that you could just send here and you still win the game no matter what because you're so far ahead, but
Now they're turning it a little bit more all in, right? Like they had a very strong lead in the early game, and they still do have a really good lead. But now they're entering all in territory. When they pull the trigger on this send, be it wave 12 or wave 13, it has to work. It has to be a one shot because otherwise, having saved for so long, this could actually give Drakir and Lucy a doorway back into the game.
and they actually double Dark Ritual,
Okay.
which is
I mean, it makes
so
sense,
he's
right?
playing
Because
around the giant snail.
Yeah,
send to
they-
kill them.
They
They'll
don't
definitely
want to they don't want to throw the game here. Like they know that Drakir is a fan of the giant snail resend, and they just if they're going to go for a long save, they just have to play it safe.
Yeah, like they know the game is in their hands, so no need to take any risk and just full league to resend on Snail
Yeah.
11. And now they just can push hard and
I think Drakir is suiciding for 13.
Okay, that's a good call.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good call. So Drakir and Lucy, like, they're no longer playing to try and hold their send. They know it's going to be way too big when it does come. So they're just hoping to break XGod and Ashton instead on wave 13 and go for the race. And actually, with the double Dark Ritual on the side of XGod and Ashton, they have lower King HP now. It's not by much. It's only 7% difference. But it can make all the difference in a race.
Yeah, and the fact is that Ashton is more pushed because he's not going to hold 13 as well as XGod. So they have the right read on Draxui, but I mean the Mythium counts aren't favorable in a race situation. That's for sure.
No, that is for sure. Ashton is really heavily pushed though. He's on 24 workers now, sending the double 4 eyes already into Drakir. Maybe thinking that Drakir shifted here. They might not have been able to read the full push there from Drakir, which is a pretty spicy play, I have to say.
Yeah, they don't really have a lot of options, so I don't mind him going for something like that.
No, it's a really good read, I think, on the side of Drakir and Lucy. Like, this is just a Hail Mary from them because they know that they have basically already lost the game, and this is their one shot, essentially, is to try and win a race. They never win by just trying to hold here because the send is way too big for them to deal with, so they just try and turn it into a race, and I really like that call from these guys.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to find this one out they can win, and they spot it, and they are executing it. So very good play by Drakir and Lucy here.
Now, Lucy, this is going to come down to a race really between Lucy and, I guess, Ashton. But Lucy has by far the highest value in the game here at 2.5k. But yeah, Ashton receiving 240 versus the 780 that Lucy receives. So Drakir, of course, leaking 200% there with his full suicide push. And how is XGod doing? I mean, his Fatalizers are down, his Berserkers are down. And Ashton, he is leaking as well. Lucy does go down, though. The 780, it did prove to be big enough. Despite her having the best value, the send was just way too big. Ashton, of course, leaks as well. But yeah, this is GG. XGod and Ashton. X Crash, they do take a 1-0 lead against the Bearded Dragons.
Yeah.
Nice play by them. Very nice play. It all started with the 6-worker push from XGod, right?
Yep.
And
on wave 2?
There was on wave 2, yeah. And then he leaks, obviously on 3, but then like this was like chain leaks, right? But I think what catch them off guard, like Drakir and Lucy, is that I think they was not expecting from Ashton to save till 8.
Yeah.
Like how often you see Ashton sending Ogre and like skipping 7 when he's facing big send, like I think that was the game changer.
But do you know what's really impressive there, though? Like, you don't expect Ashton to save. He literally skipped one wave. He sent pre-income on wave 6 with the Fiend, didn't add, obviously, post-income, and then he sends a 240 send on wave 8. So that's just, it goes to show, like, how scary Ashton can be when he pushes those workers in the early game.
Yeah. Really, a really nice game. And basically that, I think Drak needed a little income to build the Warg on 6, and then that just made his send on 7 too small to get XGod there.
Yeah.
And it also was like this Fiend income on 6, like I was mentioning. It was very good, and he saved 40 Mythium, and it was exactly enough to send, for example, Ogre on 8. So we can see like this small change or small like thinking or like changes like have like big effect right here.
Yeah, exactly. Because if he didn't hold on to that 40, he probably ends up sending, dinos or something on wave 8, which is just Drakir is easily holding them, and they're not going to take nearly as much king damage. But because he was able to get that ogre out by saving the 40 wave 6, it's just absolutely devastating. This damage that they take on wave 8 going from 100% to 43 just really cements XGod and Ashton hard in the lead after this wave 8 send.
Yeah, and I think another thing is the cartel pick from XGod was perfect for that kind of situation, where you need to hold while being pretty aggressive in the early game, and it just lets you get off of save if you want to, whilst holding onto your Mythium, or whilst holding onto the enemy sense, and I feel like he really used that to create the advantage. Like,
I think he played like textbook cartel, like he pushed. Over pushed, and then he catch up with Syncam and make huge holds on 7 and 10, and then the game was already over. So the kick in on Cartel was not an issue. So really nice play.
Just really, very, very clean play overall from XGod and Ashton there. Fairly textbook, like you say. Yeah, really, really good. All right, guys, so that is a 1-0 advantage now for XGod and Ashton Butcher. What do Lucy and Drakir need to change up with their game plan as we go into game number 2, do you think?
Well, I mean, it was a bit of an unfortunate situation. I mean, they had the right read that their weak wave was 8, and they tried an undercut on 7.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they got outplayed by XGod there.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it would be nice if they didn't have the same weak waves in the early game, but you can't always have that. So maybe just see if they can come up with a slightly better early game where they're not getting big sense for king damage.
I don't even really feel like Drakir and Lucy made any mistakes, or not any obvious ones in the early game at least, because Lucy was still applying a ton of pressure against Ashton, right? She sent 3 brutes on wave 7. He leaked massively. Like, it was really clutch that XGold was able to hold his lane there, but Drakir and Lucy were still playing pretty aggressively, pretty solid Legion. It's just Ashton and XGold seem to be one step ahead. But guys, okay, so this is now everything to play for. Game number 2 is here. Ashton and XGold, they're on match point. Drakir and Lucy, they need to win this one if they want to have a hope of staying in the finals.
Yep, Ashton onto his greed pick. Pretty expected when he doesn't have YOLO. And it's Lucy on the cartel this time.
All right. Now, I know Lucy is very, very good with Cartel, so it'll be interesting to see what she does with this Mastermind pickup here. And do you guys spot anything interesting in the roles here?
I mean, we do have some tree guys available.
Yeah. No Maelstrom, it's it, so
Yeah.
something.
I wonder if Lucy will play Anglers, because I think it's the choice that makes sense with her role, but I know she doesn't love playing with Anglers.
I actually I play a lot of Anglers myself, but I really don't like playing Anglers with Cartel. Now, Adam's actually, you're probably the perfect person because you're the Angler master, right? So, I mean, yeah, Lucy, we see her roll it away. She's not willing to play the Anglers. But Adams, what do you think with Anglers in Cartel? Because really, in my mind, with Cartel, you just want to have a very strong early game, and Anglers are kind of the opposite of that, right? You sacrifice your early game in favor of a mid-game power spike.
Yeah, I will not play around Anglers, or like not try to force it if I have some other roles. It's very important to push your workers with Cartel.
Yeah,
And
guys, look at this. 4 snails sent here on wave 1. But only one player, I think, is going to leak, and that's Ashton Butcher. The other players should hold. XGod might leak a little bit, actually, because the Looter is definitely not the perfect split to have with the Trinity Archer here. And yeah, so he leaks 3 creeps. Ashton's going to leak 4 or 5 creeps as well.
It is RNG, I think, with the Looter, but what can you do?
Yeah, 42% there from Ashton, 33 from XGod. And I mean, this is very, very small amounts of king damage, but it is an early game lead already for Drakir and Lucy. So as they go into their all-important game number 2, they can't afford to lose this one. This is about as good a start they could hope for, really.
Everyone just collecting their income.
It might not seem that big, but it's kind of big. Like you on wave 1, you're already playing with more gold, like what is it, plus 16? So it's like some bonus spell. Like it might not sound that great, but it's actually good advantage for them. So let's see if they can use it.
Yeah, and they also got the plus 6 each from holding their own snails as well, right? So it's really, really good early game for them. Oh, but Lucy did not add anything to her Gatling gun here, so she does go for a bit of a leak now on wave 2. It's only 3 creeps and a snail, though. She's fine with that. And meanwhile, XGod leaks 40% to his snail resend. Oh, but Drakir leaks as well. Okay, this changes things now.
Yeah, I mean, Ashton holding, the only one. It's a very interesting early game so far.
This is a real Fiesta early game, guys.
Actually, the small advantage now is disadvantage, right? Because they leaked bigger.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised what Drakir did, because he shipped like 38 gold or something. He only added this one. So I think
he
maybe
didn't expect XGod to go 6 workers, because I think XGod only got that because he's cash out.
That does make sense. Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to get the second snail out, right?
Well.
Yeah. So Drakir's definitely holding here on wave 3, and Lucy probably holding as well. Let's have a look at XGod. He's receiving the biggest send here. He does get
He's
triple snail.
leaking big, I think.
225 value. Yeah, he's going to go for a bit of a leak here. But with the Aqua add as well, that's pretty solid arcane HP. So he's able to at least clear a good amount of the
Could be
creeps.
worse.
Yeah.
But it's actually the opposite of what we're used to seeing from this pairing, right?
Yeah, right?
XGod going crazy.
Nice fiestas there.
Talking of going crazy, by the way, Lucy has 8 workers here on wave 3. That's pretty insane.
Insane.
Yeah, I mean, Gun is just super strong if you're getting Sen's early game. Can push like crazy, and she has great units to support it. The Infiltrator is one of the best with Gun, and the rest of the tier 3s just make her gold really nice, I think.
Yeah. She is getting a pretty big resend here, though.
I
Ashton,
think she's
he
leaking
sent
to
3
80.
snails already. He's going to add another one, or he'll at least be able to add another one if he wants to. And Lucy with 320 value here, I think she could go for a bit of a leak.
Yeah, I don't think this. I think this can hold 60, but 80 might be a leak.
Oh, Ashton's not sending the 4th snail, though, it seems.
Not ready for the greed.
I mean, if Lucy holds here, then her 8-worker push is going to pay off big time, I think.
Yeah, the Gun is split tanking pretty good here.
Oh, wow, this is just dream aggro here for FC Lucy, and she is
Wow.
holding. So that 8 workers, 9 workers now, really paying off. Meanwhile, XGod leaks again. Okay, it's only 2 creeps, but this is chip
Yes,
damage
they
pretty
got.
much every wave against XGod.
Nikasgod is
for-
gonna face the big sense, and he's not that strong here. He needs to be very careful here right now, because if
Right.
he leaks here again, it's gonna be very hard for him.
Yeah,
His units are suboptimal, you could say.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, XGod
And
is going
he's
for
trying to-
a try-hard send here with the Hermit, with the Snails into Drakeer's lane, but with that Tree of Knowledge, Drakeer, there's just absolutely no way. The Fire Elemental on its own is insane on wave 5, and with Tree of Knowledge, I mean, this thing's just going to one-shot the wave. Let's watch this thing go boom.
It's actually the easiest hold, and Drak did this while saving. So,
The game
don't
is
think
so
this will
fed,
be-
though, with the sends every wave, with leaks every wave. Everybody has so much gold to play with. Boom! Look at that. Everything dies immediately.
now it's the 1v1 showdown. Well, I mean...
Oh,
it's
the
a
Hermit
big
does win.
score.
Okay, so he leaked him. I really don't think that's worth, though, from XGod sending that Hermit there.
That's
Maybe
all
a
good for
Cannoneer
Lucy.
would have been better, right?
That's so good for
Oh
Lucy.
my
It's 12
God.
walkers.
Oh, yeah, that's incredible, actually. Lucy, 12 workers on wave 5. She's getting an income send here on 6, where she should be able to do very well, if not just full hold.
And this is also coming from Drak pressuring Ashton, just saving on him, forcing him to income a lot. And somehow his build has 3 of these guys.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And Dracker is saving for maybe Ghost Knight or something on 8.
Ashton is
Yeah.
really going to struggle wave 8. Like, even if he has the Coiler, which of course is fantastic there, something like a Ghost Knight just means that the Coiler's on its own against the wave, because these units will just never reach the Cobras.
We talked about people trying to... No one being able to use Canified Tree, but the Tree of Knowledge is also saying, okay, Drak maybe over-pushed a bit, but...
Yeah, but speaking of over-pushing, Lucy's on 14 workers, and she does hold her send here on wave 6. Lucy's just having an absolutely incredible game here in game number 2.
Oh, it's
Oh.
actually... Wow.
Okay, the
Didn't wanna
Ogre
save any
on
longer.
7. But Ashton, he's on 900 value. He drops a Cage of Pain here. Fantastic tank value for 7. And if that gets a spell off as well, it should prevent him from kind of focusing the Ogre part way through, because the AoE damage is going to weaken the sludges.
Yeah, I think he can do pretty good here.
I think he can might even hold.
He's on
Yeah,
value. Like, he's
he-
on 905 value here, guys. The send is massive, but so is Ashton's fighter value. Like, he's insane here.
Yeah.
We even have the Serpent picking off the Lizard on the back line. There was a spell cast there by the Cage. So now the Harbingers and the Gate Guards just destroying all the sludges with the bam woof action. The Ogre is actually being focused now, though, so very
Yeah.
important whether he can kill this, or will he end up leaking on 1 HP. And it looks like the latter, the Ogre, just too strong. But I think Ashton's very happy with his performance here. It's a low HP Ogre. It's a sludge and a couple of tiny little blobs. Lucy. Yeah, that is scary, Offma. Holy moly.
There's no stopping for Lucy in this game. Like, it's insane lead right now. Like, the
She's
income
so
and
far
workers.
ahead in terms of income. Look at that, Adams. She's on 159 income. The second player is XGod with 122. This is really crazy here.
Insane,
and
insane.
She's feeding XSquad every single wave and still coming out ahead. So.
Yeah. I mean, her feeding XGod every wave, like, he ended up leaking quite heavily in the first 4 waves, right? So he has stabilized now. He did hold 6 and 7, but, you know, she's getting so much gold value from sending this income every wave. Now, Drakir, he does get 180 resend now from XGod. Is he able to hold this time? This is going to be important, I think. That Aqua combo, very, very strong on 8 when there's no Mole Hermit involved. And with this split tanking, it just looks pretty perfect for him. That's a full hold, right?
Even the Sea Dragon healing up the Aqua.
Yeah. That's a nice
Even
hold there from Drakir, so he's able to stabilize as well. We do get more income sent from Ashton and XGod, and Lucy is going for a try-hard send for, I think, the first time this game.
Yeah,
I'm
unfortunately.
actually surprised that she's going for Maul right here. I know that she's looking good.
Oh!
Okay.
Oh, that mole's going to
No
pay off
way.
pretty hard.
Yeah. No way you build Archer on this wave.
Yeah.
I mean, this is also building for 10, so I think it's...
XGod is shifting. XGod's shifting gold here. He's trying to go for that Sovereign on 10, I think, but he's going to receive a 180 send here from Lucy, and this shift is going to come and bite him, I think.
Yeah, he's on value, so he shouldn't do horribly.
So much of his value is bad here, though. The Steeds just die instantly. The Archer, the Aqua combo is just hard countered by the Mole.
Yeah, it's gonna be some struggles here.
The Sovereign doesn't get to pop off with its ability there, and as a result, XGod is leaking hard. That's a 71% there. Ashton does hold, though, so they're not going to take any king damage. Ashton has more than enough cover value left in the mid with all of these doggos. Lucy, though, 20 workers, guys. 21! She just can't be stopped!
No way. There is no way she will be stopped this game.
Yeah.
And I think XGod got like he got hot in my opinion, but I think when he saw the build of Ashton, he was like not expecting the hard 9 on him.
I mean, it can be... You can kind of get lulled to sleep when someone is just incoming you the whole game, and then out of nowhere it's like a huge tryhard resent and you're just leaking everything.
I mean, he's probably not expecting to be sent from someone who has 24 workers on wave 10, right? Like, this feels like some sort of record for a Nova Cup game. Oh, that is just so much damage. The Rogue Wave and the Elite Archer there from XGod shredding the boss on wave 10. But they're so far behind. Like, even though their builds are really, really strong. He's got the Lifesteal Sovereign. He's got the Trinity Archer Rogue Wave combo. But Lucy, with those 24 workers, just really steamrolling ahead right now. Drakir is struggling, though. So leaking 46% here to just a Dino send. He was very weak on wave 10, of course.
Yeah, I don't think he has a single good unit besides his Antler.
Yeah.
So we'll let it slide. And
more income sent here from XGod, but 3 of the players are saving. And Ashton, knowing that Lucy is on a steamroll trip right now, he's just trying to put the brakes on. He's saved up 300 Mythium here. He's still piling the pressure onto Lucy, actually. Maybe expect to see a 13 send, but even there, Lucy can be very strong with the Orchids.
Yeah, they need to do something right now, and it has to work.
Yeah.
Else, there's no chance to stop Lucy.
She's going for the scaling too.
Talking of tryharding, though, because Drakir, he's got 380 Mythium as well. So both of these guys placing a ton of pressure on their respective opponents. And when do you think Drakir's going to send?
I mean, it's kind of unclear to me when they want to go, because XGod doesn't really have weak waves for a while. Like,
probably
his build is...
13 together.
13 is reasonable, yeah.
Can send a lot.
Ashton is so strong, though. He's going to have Starcaller with the Magician Aura, which is actually pretty solid value for Harbingers and Gate Guards as well, by the way, because when those things end up getting 2 or 3 dogs spawned, they just produce so much free value.
I suppose you could try a 12 send, but Seems
But
a
XGod is
little
just
risky with
way too
four
strong on
showing.
12, right?
But Ashton has no tank for 13, so sure he
Yeah.
has like good build, but the
That's-
units are not that great on 13. Like his boar and a lot of fortified armor.
Yeah, and he has going for a building for 12 here. Maybe just relying on XGod to hold 13.
Yeah, and XGod is building for 13, so XGod does pop the Sovereign here, and a couple of Pegasus actually had the Sovereign last wave, so he's really just building for wave 13, knowing that Ashton is going to be weak there. So I like the way they're trying to cover each other's weak waves.
Yeah, it looks like 13 is the play for everyone. I can't imagine them saving past that.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
never 14, so it has to be 13.
And just look at these values now, though. Ashton is already 500 undervalue, Lucy 400, Drakir 300, and here come the Wave 13 sends indeed. There's no way that Ashton and XGod can afford to skip Wave 13. They have to send as well. They do. We have Witch from XGod. We have Four Eyes Ram from Ashton, really trying to break through Lucy's defenses here. She's going to have 3 fully boosted Orchids, though, which is just insane value.
The Rim is going home, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Ram
But,
will disappear.
Now,
It is still
Drakir's
the best send,
receiving
though.
the smallest send here. XGod did slip in a couple of income sends in between, so he's not able to send too much. But having said that, Drakir, he's just out of the game right now. He's been saving
Yeah.
too long into Ashton. He leaked too much in the early game, and he just has no chance of holding, even though the send is small. It's really all about Lucy and XGod here as the two holding players for each side.
Yeah, that wave 6 really hurt him in the early game. Just
Both of
leaking.
these sends are absolutely
half the
enormous. 720 for Ashton here on 13, 660 for XGod. Even with the Sovereign, it is about to pop off, so you will get a ton of splash value. And actually, maybe he can do very well. Ashton leaking 167. The send was massive, of course. This Sovereign, oh, it does go down. That's a big leak from XGod, 83%, though it's all low HP. But Lucy is leaked here as well, despite being 2,500 value. That's a 67% and a 50 gold shutdown. Both teams taking a ton of king damage here on 13, but neither one going down, I don't think.
Yep. And XGod has pushed no more workers because,
Yeah.
well, he pushed a little bit, but he doesn't need to.
Ashton might be suiciding, and they might go for 15 cent. Let's see.
I mean,
The 15 is quite obvious, weak wave, right?
yeah, both sides took so much damage here. But having said that, if Ashton is, and it is, Ashton is fully pushing his workers. He's not building anything. He's even selling some units, I think, over there. But meanwhile, Lucy and Drakir, they're both shifting a ton of gold. We've got 300 on Drakir. We've got 500 on Lucy. These guys are planning to just accept the send on 15. They're going to be probably nearly 4k value there for Lucy on wave 15. So hoping to send. And if they do hold this all-in send on wave 15, they've pretty much won the game.
Okay, Jack telling Lucy to shift more value.
Lucy shifting 900 gold. Wow. That's a big shift there from FC Lucy.
Yeah, quite a good shift.
Yeah.
I mean, the play was, I think it was obvious for Drakir and Lucy, and they are preparing for it. I think they should also send if they are reading that it's a sweep play.
Yeah.
There's no need to skip if they know this is happening, but they.
But, yeah, Ashton didn't leak
Oh.
to no send, so...
Lucy's going to be overvalue, by the way, when she finishes
Yeah,
building.
with battle scars, by the way.
Yeah, battles. How many stacks of battle scars? 2 stacks on the Dread Knight, a couple of stacks on some Orchids there. This is just very, very juicy. She's going to get the Tree of Life here for a battle scars Dread Knight as well.
They have the right read to build for 50.
I think this was their plan all along. They know the send is coming 15, but they know that Lucy can be overvalue here by shifting 900 gold on 14, right? So they want to bait the send on 15, survive it, and then they're just in the driving seat. But look at this. Ashton, he's actually selling his entire board. He's on 900 value here, wave 15. They have absolutely no intention of the game going any longer than wave 15.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to Lucy's lane here, I think. Ashton leaking 92% to no send. This Needler is going to town against Lucy's board, but she's just destroying the
Easy
wave.
holding.
Absolutely easy hold there from FC Lucy. This is huge for the side of the Bearded Dragons. Now, Drakir, he's leaking, but even Drakir's done very well here against this send from XGod. So 81%, but it's all low HP, and Lucy's more than well equipped to clean this all up in the mid.
And XGod is going for round 2 right now in the mid.
Oh, Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
XGod is able to clear the entire wave of Ashton's leak, but they have no chance of holding wave 16.
Yeah, Ashton stopped pushing, but I don't think he's gonna recover his lane through income alone.
No, he's not. He's actually still full pushing, so he's going all in now. But Lucy, having survived wave 15, I think this
It's
is
just
just all
building
over.
more.
Yeah, the Sens are going to be way too big for Ashton and XGod to hold on to. And meanwhile, XGod, sure, he'll be on 4k value, but Lucy's on nearly 5k value here.
Yeah, with the battle scars value as well, it's
Yeah.
out of control.
They both have Dread Knights. They both have Tree of Knowledge. Perfect on wave 16. I think Drakir and Lucy have clutched this one, guys. And this is what it takes to see a game number 3. They've dominated this game too, I think. And really, I've got to say, FC Lucy is the MVP here. This has been an absolutely dominating performance from her.
Yeah. I didn't think we would see anything quite this extreme from Dragon Lucy in terms of the early game enabling, but
Yeah.
Lucy doing her best Ashton cosplay.
Now, Ashton, of course, leaking the entire wave with his suicide push. XGod leaking 148% as well. Lucy easy holding. Drakir's holding as well. It was a nice attempt there from Ashton and XGod to try and end the game on 15. Didn't work out, and that means the Bearded Dragons have tied the series 1-1.
Yep. Value a little too strong for the workers.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
And both games, the cartel player is just going absolutely bananas in terms of making the right plays. So maybe
yeah.
we'll see another cartel angle from Drakir this time.
This was just really extreme, though. I think I struggle to remember the last time we saw a player having this many workers in a Nova Cup tournament. 24 workers on wave 10 there from FC Lucy. It's really, really impressive the way that she played this game.
Yeah, and especially considering how good all 4 of these players are, it wasn't just like a huge individual player disparity that led to it. It's 4 really good players and one of them finding a way to somehow create this big of an advantage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if FC Lucy had a gun with the Infiltrator and PVs, and like if you are getting income sense, you can really push hard, and she abused that really well. And also, XGod probably leaked way too much on first 4 waves.
I
Yeah,
think the 7th worker was just too greedy in that fed of a game.
1 or 2 pro leaks, especially if you have a worker lead, can be very good for you. But if you're leaking all 4 of the first waves, while your opponent has more workers as well, it's only going to go one way for you, right? And Lucy and Drakir more than capable of turning their early game advantage into a winning position, and we just saw them. What a great play, by the way. The wave 15 being on 4k value, holding the 760 suicide send there from Ashton Butcher, and then just easily closing out the game on wave 16. Really well played, Drakir and Lucy.
Yeah, and I'm in the lobby, and Ashen already moved to get out of Drax sending position.
I don't blame him. I really don't blame him. Drakir did a very good job of keeping Ashton down in this game. I mean, they had an Ashton problem in game number 1, right? And they clearly wanted to make sure that there was no such problem in game number 2.
It was actually XGod problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me get
I
into
think
the
Ashen
lobby
is
as well.
definitely better suited to play with getting income sends from Lucy. So we'll see if Lucy switches it up and tries to play a little more enabling, a little more starvy.
I'm not expecting such a Fiesta early game in
Yeah.
this match right now.
It's very rare that you see so many like snail spam sends on every wave in a competitive format, right? But I mean, it was a really exciting game. It was very high paced, very high income, very high scaling, and yeah. I mean, it went to the side of the Bearded Dragons, but either way, it's a fun one to watch. But guys, here is game number 3 with everything to play for. The series is tied so far, but whoever wins this game is making it to the grand finals.
There is that cartel we were talking about. And yes, a decent roll with it.
He does. He's
Awesome.
got
Ooh.
Crusher Opener, which is pretty solid. He also has things like the Starcaller Boar and Windhawk and Shroom, which are very solid as well. I
What?
like the Howler. I like all the units in
He's-
Drakir's roll, actually.
He's
FC
missing
Lucy
a little bit
Casher?
of pierce damage on Drakir. He only has the Disciple,
Mhm.
so he has to pick it. So
He
that
has
can be
Howler
a
as well.
bit
Howler is actually underrated, I think. That thing can be some pretty cost-effective damage. Like, it's never going to be your carry unit, but it's cheap, and it does a pretty decent amount of DPS for the cost.
Yeah, especially in the early game.
X-God with redraw, though. This is something that
Yeah.
we see very rarely in Nova Cup because, of course, it's one of the lowest income masterminds at only +3. The trade-off for that, though, is that it almost guarantees you're going to get a really good roll. Though, having said that, I think his initial roll here is pretty weak, honestly. And he's already used 3 of the rerolls.
Yeah, he's
Oh
digging
my God.
quite deep.
He's probably just trying to find Butcher or something, right?
Looking
To
for
fit
Oathbreaker,
the-
maybe?
Yeah, Outbreaker and Butcher and some upgrades, right?
Yeah.
Or like a
Oh
guard or
no,
something.
guys. There's a snail on 1 coming from Lucy into Ashton's Wild Shroom.
Uh-oh.
This is bad. And meanwhile, Ashton sent a snail into Drakea's Bone Crusher. So again, it's looking like a repeat of Game 2 with Wave 1 already giving a massive lead to Drakea and FC Lucy.
And Ashton has not that good roll, right? Because his cheapest unit is Buckler. It's gonna
Yeah.
be harder to play around.
He
He's
had
in danger on
Adams.
Wave 2 as well, right?
I
Yeah, I
think
he has the
Ashton's roll.
Infiltrator, which is okay, but this is a super, super duper long wave.
Yeah, really, really long wave. I think Ashton's roll here actually is worse than the YOLO roll he played in game number 1, right? But, but this time he's playing Greed.
Yeah. He still has reroll. I'm not sure what is he waiting for, or what is his plan.
He wants to reroll after wave 1, I guess, because he doesn't want to waste a reroll for a tier 1, though I think a tier 1 would be pretty useful for him, honestly.
Yeah, he ditched his Adams in his starting role, which I think would have been quite good with these units, and I think they're quite good in general for the early game right now.
Yeah, a bit of a weird one there, honestly, from Ashton, because he's also a very good player with atoms, so... Alright, there's a 40 send for Ashton to deal with on wave 2, but with this Infiltrator added, he should be more than fine. So this will enable him to stabilize after that rough wave 1 leak.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought he's not gonna have money for the Infiltrator, but with this it's very fine.
Yeah.
It's good setup.
I think he had to send a snail for it, right? So he did have to feed Drakea a little bit more gold, but, you know, the trade-off is that he doesn't leak the entire wave here on 2.
Yeah, and I think X-God will be the victim of that because he's going to get an 80 cent even if it's just income.
Oh, yeah.
So he might struggle there a bit.
He does get
gets
the
a Venom,
veteran
actually.
built, though. He has perfect gold for that, and now the 0 gold buff as well. Now, the 80 cent is still pretty tough for him to deal with. He is placing the veteran in front.
Yeah, he doesn't want to risk, because if the snails come, and with his old positioning, that Nightmare will run in front, because the veteran will attack the snail. So he could risk a big leak.
Oh, but Drakea doesn't even send a second snail.
Yeah, just keeping the pressure on for 5, which is the right read.
Let's see, X-God is pushing a couple of workers here. He doesn't really have anything amazing for 5, though. Like, there's no way he can drop a Lord of Death there. He's probably going to have to do something like a Royal Guard, but, I mean, it's not very exciting. It's a good tank.
We're talking
it's just...
about weird roles. I think X-God somehow coming out the worst of him and Ashton.
Yeah, right?
With the redraw.
This is definitely not, you know, if you're spending your mastermind for the lowest income mastermind, really, and having a role like this, it's really not where you want to be for the all-important game number 3, right?
Yeah, he probably wants to play around his APS with Doomsday and LOD and the Tempest. I think he's ditching the play for Nightmare in this moment.
I mean, don't get me wrong, X-God's top end is very impressive. With the Leviathan Lord of Death, with the APS Doomsday, he can do some insane holds in the late game. But I think his early game is just too weak.
I think it should be fine if he holds wave 5, it's the bucklers, because then he's set up for wave 6 and 7. So he can push there, and let's see. But he needs to hold here.
Yeah, he's getting could be a 120, but maybe just 100 in income.
thinks that Tempest gonna save him. I'm not sure about that one.
Well, he can't quite afford the Royal Guard, right? He's 3 gold short of being able to drop that big natural tank.
So it
Yeah.
will be like 3 bucklers
Yeah.
and 1 PV. That's
Now, this thing
not
needs to tank
appealing.
the boss. We need to keep an eye on this, because if it doesn't tank the boss, this is really bad.
I think it should.
Oh, actually, the middle
Or,
one
I
did,
guess
but
the other
still.
one. Yeah. But not gonna be a lot of split tanking here. Just straight on. Oh, the Nightmare is just.
Yeah, the Nightmare is absolutely running it down there. The Tempest needed to take a little bit more aggro, I think. So as a result, this will be a pretty bad leak here for XGod, despite being on 480 value wave 5.
Ooh.
53% there.
I don't like this Tempest play here. Like, he played for DPS as a Tempest here, right?
Yep.
There was supposed to at least tank.
Yeah.
He was just making them as pure DPS, but it's Pierce 1-5, so might be a little bit misstep here, because now he's
Yeah.
gonna fall behind.
And one interesting thing, he didn't send his Mythium. He could have even sent a single snail and been able to afford the Royal Guard there on 5, which I've got to think would have probably performed better than the double Tempest there. It would have at least kept the Nightmare alive to deal damage, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Also,
And also
very-
he will be stronger on this wave, right? Now he's in danger
Yeah.
versus this tryhard recent with the Tempest.
Yeah, he can definitely leak this resend if he's unfortunate with focus. And Ashton is very far undervalue, receiving the double fiend here from Lucy. Does she get another lizard? Not quite. So she actually saves the
is.
Mythium. She doesn't add a snail here.
I think he's very lucky that Lucy needed the income, like gold, to build the LOD, or else like this is double brute. Like this is leaking super hard.
Yeah.
With the wave 6 debuff on the Canify.
Speaking of leaking, though, let's have a look at XGod. He did receive the Brute resend, but no, with that value, he's
He's
actually going to
golden.
be fine. Okay, that's good news for the side of XCrash, because XGod desperately needed to stabilize there after wave 5, I think. Oh, and Lucy actually leaks with the Lord of Death. That's interesting. Now, Ashton leaks a single creep as well, but I think this is a favourable trade for XCrash, honestly.
Yeah, he had the resend, so he can come back a little bit, so no more pressure, and he's set up for next waves, right? So now the Tempests are better than Bucklers.
Yep, I think they do need to watch out about this wave 8 though. He will have the LOD, but we saw that if the enemies have enough Mythium, it's not enough.
And Drakir is pushing hard for it as well. He's on 14 workers now. So Drakir and Lucy, they once again have the early game worker lead.
Oh, sorry, mispinged. But everyone is playing quite far under for this 8 that's gonna come.
So this could be a bit of a fiesta on wave 8 with maybe all 4 players leaking.
Yeah, I think Lucy is set up the best for sure. Only having Arcane and an LOD Tempest, so...
Yeah, she's looking pretty good there on wave 8. Ashton as
Ashton will
well
have
with
a
the,
coiler, yeah.
the coiler should be pretty fine.
I think Drakir will get a bunk out. Given
The
that
bunk
he's
will be very
Cartel.
clutch for him, honestly, because Ashton's just going for income here with the Cannoneer, and Lucy's actually going for the tryhard send. So yeah, double dino from Drakir. XGod should be okay with that, especially if he gets the Lord of Death out, which I think he will.
Yeah, he has to place the LOD here.
There it is. Yeah, so the double dino should be okay for him to deal with, although having said that, he's still 185 undervalue.
Yeah, it's everyone is playing quite risky here, so
Yeah.
we'll see how they do. I mean, it's one person receiving a triad, but these income sends aren't like joke income sends. They're quite good versus the units like the Cannoneer is really strong versus all the Arcane.
Yeah. But with that banana bunk, I think Drakir should do just fine. I'm kind of interested in watching Ashton's lane here. He's the only player receiving a power mercenary there with that safety maul, and it's really good because of course it reduces the threshold of the deep coiler, making it 3-shot the wave instead of 2. So it just takes so much longer for it to kill the backline. But having said that, I think Ashton is doing just fine. He's going to leak, but it's only going to be a few creeps. Drakir, though, 81%. Okay, we were watching the wrong lane, apparently. Lucy is holding, Ashton leaking 42. Oh, but XGod leaks as well. Only 51%, but this means they're going to take a decent chunk of king damage. Meanwhile, Lucy is able to cover most, if not all, of Drakir's leak on the left side.
Yeah, Drakir did overpush compared to everyone. He was 14 workers on 7, and everyone else was chilling around 12. So he does get punished since Ashton did full send him. But they come out ahead, like you mentioned, just because Lucy's able to hold that in the mid.
Yeah, that's a very favourable trade for the
Ooh,
Bearded Dragons, actually.
everyone resending.
Everyone resending, X-God with the
Fast,
Maul
aggressive.
into Lucy. I
And
mean,
we see
the
more
Maul is
full sends.
the Maul is really
And,
powerful against Lucy's build, right? She has so many like small, fast instances of damage, and it's all pierce damage as well, which is really bad against Wave 9.
And she's prepping wave 10, right? Not going for a Mudman and instead just going for some more damage. But I think Drac can hold this resend, right? Unless, is Ashen going for a Brute as well, or?
Ashton does
Yes.
add a Brute as
Yes.
well. Okay.
It is
I mean,
the
the
Ashen
resends are
resend.
pretty big. We've got 200 for Lucy, 160 for Drakir, and 180 for both X-God and Ashton. The imps are all getting sniped by this Lord of Death for X-God, though, so that's pretty fortunate for him. He's going to do very well as a result. And Ashton, I mean, he's leaking as well.
Everybody leaking.
Everybody leaking. What a fiesta here on
Jeez.
Wave 9. 61 for X-God, 71 for Lucy, 56 for Drakir. But the King HP advantage is on the side of the Bearded Dragons. And sure, they might take a bit more damage here on 9, but they're still going to be way ahead in terms of King HP and workers.
We're gonna see another set of resends? Because I don't think anyone has that good of a build for 10.
Everybody holding. These two teams, guys, they're playing so aggressively in the early game. Like, this is kind of unusual for Nova Cup games, honestly. We normally see players playing a little bit more slow, a bit more careful, with longer saves, but these guys are just going for it.
Yeah, I think after that resend, everyone is like, oh, like everyone is super pushed. I'm just gonna chill and hold the next resend.
Yeah.
But it's not coming.
Yeah, that's the breakpoint. Now they are like, because they drop so much King HP, right? So they can't afford to do the same play like they did.
Wow. That's a fantastic read there from X-God, actually dropping the Hades here on Wave 10. So he's gambling that there won't be a resend because, of course, the Hades is terrible on Wave 10, but it's absolutely amazing on Wave 11 and 12. So he just covers those waves perfectly. And do you know what that says to me? These guys already want to go Wave 13 against Drakir and Lucy.
I think
I mean, it's like good play for like if you are expecting send on 11, but the downside of that play is that you're showing that you actually pushed 0 workers.
Yeah.
You add like 400 value on next wave, so the opponents can kind of read it and make some adjustments in their plan. So it also has some downsides.
The third LOD making its appearance this game. And
this
X-God
time in
going for
Drakir's
the
lane,
Super
yeah.
Hades build. Jesus. APS double Leviathan boost. I mean, this Hades is a 1v9 machine, but it has no tanks right now.
And Lucy dropping a couple of Mudmen here as well. So again, this has got to come down to a Wave 13 race, right?
And everyone taking Vamp because they want to play for max value.
I think maybe Ashton has the best setup for a Wave 13 race, though. With the Ocean Templar, he can have a couple of Hellgates there as well with Vampire. I think he can do very well, but the sends are going to be massive all around. And with both sides on fairly low King HP, especially Team X Crash, they can't afford like any kind of a leak really on 13.
It's very interesting because everyone has builds that are very good if they're, or like that need a lot of value. Like especially the Gates rule, like you do want like to be close to value with this build, and it's just insane. But with this long save, everyone should be pretty under value when it comes to the 13th Sun.
Yeah.
The Ashton build on 13 is insane. Like Gate, it's the Ocean Templar and the Vampire. I think he can be very strong, and he also has option to snipe the range sense if he is feeling.
Yeah, so which won't be an option.
It looks like X-God and Ashton are a little bit closer to value as well. Like, there's very little in it, but they do have slightly better value. But having said that, they also have a worker disadvantage, so they're going to receive a bigger send.
Yeah, the Cartel buff, or debuff, hurting Drac for sure. When it comes to a longer save through 11 like this, but...
Ooh, double Ghost Knight. I'm not sure about that one. I would personally not send it because I'm afraid that you need to send DPS to this build.
Yeah,
and
the Vamp.
stuff.
makes me concerned as well.
Yeah, I think he can just max all the spawns and
Oh.
just clear the wave with this double GK. But
He also
we'll see.
won't be able to kill the GK, so it will be a somewhat close
Yeah.
race of the HP versus like, can you actually get through the GK in time? Because he doesn't have an Orchid or anything to kill it quick.
I love this though. I love X-God dropping the Sovereign here with the Vampire, with the APS Aura, and I also love his Peewee up here because he's trying to pull both Four Eyes away from that Sovereign. Let's see if it works out. It does.
Yeah.
So the Sovereign does not tank one of the Four Eyes. It's going to get a ton of value here. Massive sends all around though. 620 for Drakir. He's going to leak pretty badly. 500 for Lucy. She might do okay, actually. 620 for X-God. And it looks like X-God's just holding. What a beast! And Ashton, he received 600 as well. I mean, with those Ocean Templar gates with Vampire, he's doing phenomenally well. But it does look like he will leak. The Ghost Knights were pretty solid against him, honestly. Although, having said that, now they're back onto the wave. And it looks like he's doing very well. Drakir, 89%. Lucy, full hold. X-God, full hold. Ashton Butcher, it's a full hold as well.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, the Vamp came through in the end. It's just, even though everything was dead besides the gates, once the GKs are gone, they can actually kill the wave.
He just got all the spawns and all the lifesteal, so I was expecting this result. But
it was looking
nice...
ropey there for a second because he had half the wave still alive, just about to reach the gates, but the gate creeps were enough to clear it up.
Yeah, but very nice play by X-God, dropping the Soph and pulling the 4 Eyes away from it. Very nice play.
I think Drak is pushing for 15 into these guys.
He's
kind of
pushing
risky.
a lot.
Or if he's just pushing hard and skipping anyways.
And do you know what? I really love this because X-God and Ashton, right now, they have to be conscious of the play that Drakir and Lucy made in game number 2, where they shifted 900 gold on Lucy, right, to accept the send on 15 and then go a little bit longer. But this time, Drakir and Lucy have switched things up. In fact, they're doing the polar opposite. So instead of shifting gold, he's just fully pushed. I think he's even sold a couple of units there. So he really is all in for breaking X-God on 15.
Yeah, I mean, if they do this, they should send, in my opinion, again. But with the saves on money, they might be like very confident that they don't need to send and just hold the one wave skip.
I mean, their value will be insane, but so will the size of sends coming from Lucy and Drakir.
Yeah, I think the OT just makes you never want to like send on 15 because it's just so much value, and he's literally on value.
Yeah.
With Vamp and all these units.
Yeah. He can drop.
I would still like more if you are expecting the send here.
Yeah.
Suicide.
I think it's the safer play for sure. You can't really lose if you do send.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't know that Drakir's suiciding though, right? And look, he's even selling his board. He's doing exactly what Ashton did in game number 2. So this is an all-in play to try and win on 15. And the shoe's just on the other foot, right? This is the exact same thing that happened in Game 2, but now the teams are reversed. So let's see if X-God and Ashton are able to pull off this Wave 15 hold, the same that Drakir and Lucy did in Game number 2. Because if they leak here, they're dead, guys. Drakir leaking 92% to no send. Ashton, I mean, he's doing very, very well. His creeps are onto the wave. It looks like a hold. X-God, I mean, he's got 2 Drakes out there with the MPS buff, with the Leviathan buff. That looks like a hold as well. Guys, I think this is GG in favour of Team X-Crash. It's not over yet, though. But Ashton, I mean, he's sending income. He knows that Drakir, of course, is fully suicided, so he doesn't need to send those power mercenaries. He's just maximising his income, while X-God is going to try and break FC Lucy. He has 600 Mythium. This send is going to be very, very dangerous now.
Yeah, you probably don't need to send full Power Max versus 3 units on 16, so I guess
I think that's probably a good call from Ashton. He can even do some king upgrades post-income if he so chooses, and he does. He's going for regen. Oh, but Lucy even hardened on 15. These guys really were completely all in there on the wave 15 play that didn't pay off for them, and it is a complete role reversal now in game number 3. X-God and Ashton are using Lucy and Drakir's tricks against them, and guys, I think this is the tournament favourites going out in the semi-finals.
Yeah, I guess.
Like it. Smiley face.
I'm surprised they didn't think that they would also want to go for a 16 race after the 13th situation, but maybe just felt that Drac was too far behind.
Yeah. I mean, Drakir feels like his best play here is to draw a smiley face with Bone Warriors, and maybe he's right. I mean, you love the sportsmanship there. He understands they're in a lost position. XGod leaking 157, but he fully pushed into FC Lucy. Meanwhile, Ashton, of course, easily holding there. Lucy leaks 100% as well, and that does mean that X-Crash are through to the grand finals, while the Bearded Dragons, unfortunately, they're going home with nothing.
Yeah, well played by XGod and Ashton.
Yeah, super unclear how that game was until the 13 Suns came. Like, it was a very, very even game.
If you look at the win probability from Jules there, he's favouring the Bearded Dragons all the way through the early game, right from wave 1 all the way to wave 13. And then, as you're saying, with the way that XGod and Ashton were able to both hold those big sends on 13, all of a sudden the win chance goes right in favour of X-Crash. And with some nice decision making here, reversing the bait on 15, going for the kill on 16, they just closed this game out in a very clean fashion. Super well played to XGod and Ashton. This was very, very clinical.
Very well played. It's not easy to eliminate Drakir and Lucy from tournaments, so they really had to play a good game.
Yeah,
And, like,
100%.
inside reads and holds, so nice play.
100%, dude. I mean, Drakir and Lucy have felt pretty much unstoppable in the last couple of months. Like, they just have felt maybe a notch above all of the other teams in the Cup. But here, XGod and Ashton are just showing that they can be beaten, and actually it felt like a fairly dominating performance, especially in game number 1. Now, sure, Lucy just played out of her mind in game number 2, but these guys were not phased. They came back very strong in game number 3. Despite the snail leak on Ashton wave 1, they were able to come back into the game, stabilise, and just with some very smart decision-making there, especially on wave 15, just able to close out the game, knocking out the tournament favourites in the process.
Yeah. Really impressive stuff.
So you have to think as well, like XGod and Ashton have put themselves in a very good spot now in terms of winning the whole thing, right? I don't know, do we have a result from the second semi-final, Offmer? Have you seen?
I think they're playing the game 3 right now.
See, wave 10. Maybe we could...
Maybe we should hop into that one then, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, guys, you get a little bit of a bonus now. You get to see game number 3 of the second semi-final as well.
I think
Do I
this
need to
is
write
1-1.
All right, let me load up the spectate. I need to sort out the scoreboard quickly as well.
Oh, perfect. I can still spectate.
Nice.
And coming in, and Witterson and King are on shutdown.
Ooh. Is that good?
Yeah, I think so.
For Witterson and
it's,
Kingdowns, anyway.
Yeah, it's Fiesta Cartel from them, so maybe something funny happened in the early game.
Okay. All right, guys, here is game number 3 of Die Rostiger Rossiameister versus Team Power Index. The score is 1-1, and there is an advantage, it seems, in favour of Witterson and Kingdowns.
Yeah,
Interesting build by King with Fiesta. You don't really see this kind of board with Fiesta.
Yeah. Wonder how,
Interesting.
like, Oathbreakers start into, like, very strange.
I mean, he's obviously managed to make it work, though. They are in the lead so far, at least.
Yeah.
But having said that, we get some big sends here on 11 against Burnt and Green Spirit. Burnt is doing very well. Green Spirit not so well. That's 126% leak there. He did receive a 500 Mythium send, though. Kingdowns gets a shutdown there with a 73% leak. Witterson does hold and will be able to fully cover. Meanwhile, Burnt cannot cover much, if anything, of Green's leak here. They're going to take even more King damage, dropping lower and lower, while Witterson and King remain on 100% King.
Yeah, and it's
Those were some big sense on Illidan.
Yeah. Poor Green. I mean, he's getting the Fiesta player treatment where the Fiesta player just kills you.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it.
And now we see Witterson and Kingdowns pushing very, very hard workers now. They're going for a kill, maybe even just on wave 13. So they know that Green Spirit most likely will have that Vampire, Head Chef buffed Sovereign. but they're just pushing really hard because Burnt Dasprote, he looks very weak indeed on wave 13. So I love this aggression here from Widdowson and Kingdowns. They may just be able to close out the game on 13.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Julian tries to overbuild as usual, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's gonna work out. But I think they are aiming for 15 or 14 cent, right?
Yeah.
So they decide we need to hold 13 build and just go later.
Yeah, but
this
they have spotted the fact that King and Widdowson have pushed very hard. You see the question mark pings coming out from Burnt. So these guys do know that something fishy is going on. Interesting now whether they income King or just try to survive descent.
they probably have to save.
They
Yeah,
do
it's-
save, okay.
They might live if they send, but if you match sends when the other team has double your workers, you can't win the game.
Yeah, right. So I do like the play here from Burnt and Green. They're just trying to survive, but it's a tall order here because the sends are absolutely massive from Widdowson and Kingdowns. We already see the Four Eyes Witch from King. We see Mole Hermit, double imps coming out from Widdowson as well. And Burnt is just not looking very good on this wave with the Leviathan, with the Trinity Archer. I mean, the Orchids is a glimmer of hope, but I mean, the send is just massive.
Yeah, he really needs to snipe them all,
Yeah,
Yep.
that's important.
but that's probably
He's
not gonna happen.
Mole is chilling in the split.
So it survives forever. He does kill the left side very, very quickly, I have to say. Meanwhile, Green, I mean, that's a 580 Mythium send that Green Spirit receives. Now, his Sovereign with lifesteal is good, but it's just not going to be enough. He's guaranteed to leak here. The Sovereign does pop off. He's getting a ton of damage done, but it's not enough. That's a big leak from Green. And Burnt Dasprote, he is... I mean, he's doing well. In fact, Burnt
Really?
is just holding. Okay. This maybe changes
coming
things.
through.
It's 92% leak there for Green. Burnt is able to do some damage against the creeps in the mid. The guys, they're not dead. They're losing even more HP. They're dropping below 40% here. In fact, they're even below 30%. Wow. But they are still in the game for now.
And they are going big here right now.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
King is not looking that sexy here, I have to say.
Yeah. His units are suboptimal, I think, for wave 14.
Kingdowns is very undervalued as well. But having said that, Widdowson is not terrible here. With his Iron Scales, that's the perfect tank. The Leviathan can deal damage, the Aquas can deal damage. And what's more, when they have full upgraded King, which they have the full spell and they have a lot of attack as well, there's no way they can die here. So Burnt and Green, they need to get a lot of King damage done. And I think they will, but maybe it just evens up the game?
Yeah, and even might only be in terms of some king damage because the income situation is not looking so good, and the worker
Yeah.
situation is well.
Holy
You
moly.
need more than a big leak.
I didn't even look at the income, but wow, Kingdowns has 200 income more than Green Spirit. That is... Wow, that is
I
insane.
mean, counterattack, even getting one counterattack off is
Yeah.
just insane value. But
Widdowson and
like I said,
Kingdowns.
this is some damage.
They are going to take some damage, but like you say, they're economically
Green
so
is
far ahead.
pushing. They are pushing.
Ah,
Are they just going for an all-in resend? Trying to catch Widdowson and King off guard?
Maybe here are 16, because 16 is also looking quite juicy.
yeah, and it is Julian and Green's strong wave if you were to pick one. They do have like a Vamp Sov and
Yeah,
Boom
yeah.
Trees,
Okay,
and
okay.
the Levi Archers are absolutely broken on 16 as well.
And Burnt is just fully pushing, Green Spirit more or less the same. This is pretty impressive stuff, guys. So what do you think? Will Widdowson and Kingdowns make the right read here on wave 16? Because if they send 16, they're more or less guaranteed to win, I think. But if they skip, thinking that
Yeah.
Burnt and Green are just going for the overbuild, you know, like the shifty overbuild play on wave 16, then this could be very dangerous for Die Rostiger Rossiameisters.
I think they
Yeah.
will just send because
The myth
King
is too big.
King should read that he is not getting sent on 17. There's no way they are gonna do some play and go
Yeah,
17.
King's a god on 17, right?
So they should expect to send here or 18.
Mhm.
But 18 is too long. It's the Mythium and the push. So
Yeah, I think everyone in this game has a feel for like how pushed everyone was. Like it should feel okay to. Yeah. But
Oh, King and
yeah.
Widdowson, they are saving. This is really interesting now, guys. This is all or
Yeah.
nothing for Burnt and Green, but I love the play that they're going for here. They just
not that
pushed
King is
super
bad
hard.
here either.
He's not with the wargs, with the deep coilers as well, and gates with Whitemane Aura are just always insanely powerful, right? But he's 400 undervalue, and Widdowson, he's going to be about 400 undervalue as well, 500 even when he finishes building. And these sends are not too shabby coming out from Burnt and Green. Burnt has 40 workers, by the way.
Yep, they're both playing 1k under here. So this is a very, very all-in play.
Oh,
and
this
it
is
might be
this is
what
all
they-
in, but it might just work. 720 for Widdowson, 880 for Kingdowns. Widdowson, I'm fairly sure, should leak pretty decently here. So I mean, this is going to be a big leak, I think, for Widdowson. How's Kingdowns doing? It looks like he's doing better than Widdowson, but those coilers are going down now in the backline. His gates are starting to take damage. That's 111% leak there for Widdowson. And Kingdowns, I think he's not holding either. There's going to be a ton of creeps in the mid. King is doing very well, but not quite well enough. This is a 57% leak for him. There's 25 creeps in the mid. The King is fully upgraded, but I don't know if they survive here, guys.
I think it's gonna be GG.
Oh, Burns and Green, they've just pulled off a miracle, guys. They've knocked out
What?
Widdowson and Kingdowns.
Wow.
I'm
be-
very glad that we managed to pivot into this third game here,
Well-
because what a nail-biting finish.
Look at the graph, like holy moly, like it's going so up and then down. But I personally don't. I mean, very nice play by Julian and Green Spirit, like super good. They spot the weak wave, push for it, and go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised that King and Wither skip and didn't protect this wave because
I
like
mean-
Withersson is totally bad here, right? And
Yeah.
King is monster on 17, so they need to protect on 16.
That graph is obscene, Adams. Like, Kingdowns and Widdowson are so far ahead. So far ahead. In fact, Jules is giving them a 70% chance of winning on wave 16. But guess what? Burnt and Green, they said not today. I love this play that they went for here. They know that they're behind. It's one of those situations where they have... they know it's like a 1% chance of winning, right? But they have to go for it because anything else is a 100% chance of losing. And I love the fact that they went for it. Great presence of mind there. Both of them fully pushing on 15, not building a single unit. Burnt continues pushing as well. He goes all the way up to 40 workers there. And as a result, he's able to leak Kingdowns despite King's insane build, insane 4.3k value on 16. What a finish to this series, guys.
Yeah, shout out to Julian for holding that 13 with Levi Archer. Like that's I'm obviously at Orchids too, but it was still a really, really nice hold that gave them the chance even to get back into it.
Yeah, right, because if Julian doesn't hold there, the guys are just dead on 13.
Yeah.
And what a fantastic play. Widdowson and Kingdowns, they must be feeling a bit hard done by there, I would imagine, because they were in such a winning position, but not reading the game correctly there with Burnt and Green Spirit's double suicide push, and they pay the price. But man, I mean, guys, we have got our grand final decided. It will be Team X Crash. That is X-God and Ashton Butcher. They are facing off against Burnt Dasprote and Green Spirit. That's the power index. That's going to be one hell of a spicy grand final.
Yeah.
And doesn't Green have like 100% win, or did he play more Nova Cups?
I
I
think
think
he's played other stuff where he hasn't won. I
Ah.
think with Boone, but he has a very high success rate, it seems.
Yeah. Green and Kid K have a 100% win rate together.
Ah.
But I think Green might have a 100% win rate when he reaches the finals. So we'll have to see. I mean, either way, it's going to be a really exciting grand final, guys. I think we obviously need to give the players maybe 10 minutes rest because they've both played some very intense series there. So maybe if we try and reconvene in around 8 minutes time, we can give the players 10 minutes. We can have a little bit of a preamble. So guys in Twitch chat, do not go anywhere because we have one very special grand final coming right up in around 10 minutes time.
Focus
Oh,
on
the
the left.
Azeria! Oh, the Priestess dies really quickly.
Ooh,
There was
the
no
Priestess.
second heal. This could be very bad here for
This is gonna
Widdowson.
be rude.
This is going to be rough. 100% like you say. Ashton, though, he's holding the 280 send there. Can't kill the Ogre, though, can he? Atom? Outbroke? It can! The Atom's insane, dude! Look at this, Buzz. We've got 13 workers on Ashton, 12 on Burnt, 14 on Aviator,
baby.
and 12 on Widdowson.
Is under fire. It will be.
Oh, it
a
dies
late
very quickly. That's a
snipe.
Mimic Snipe there, and now Drakea's Azeria will heal. That's just a full hold, right? There's no way the creeps can kill the Azeria. Oh, wow. Aviator. Is he dying? He's
Widdowson?
dying. It goes down. The Crusher is dead. And the
It's not
Dams.
doing-
You have 9 workers. You have 3.2k value, and you're leaking 100%. Chuvis 97% there, Drakea 99, Adams 69%. It's nice,
Very
but
nice.
not with Chuvis and Adams. Drakea and Lucy, they are your June Nova Cup champions.
Yep. Yeah, jeez. I've never been so unsure about a game state at Wave 10. And all of those games. Oh my god. Sure.
I'm
Hello, Twitch chat. Welcome back. Welcome back. What an absolutely insane couple of semi-finals we had there already, and that just bodes extremely well for the grand final, I think, because these two teams have just shown us they have some very spicy plays in their arsenal, and I think they're going to be pulling out all the stops in the grand final as well. So, Offmer and Adams, are you guys ready for some super hype matches?
Of course, and best of 5 with Conquest, just even more exciting than best of 3.
Oh, absolutely,
super
dude.
and
Absolutely.
I'm rooting for 5 games.
Of
Oh,
course, maybe
oh.
even a race on 16.
Okay, we have a lobby available as well, so let's get in there, see if the players are ready.
Any predictions by you guys?
It's really hard to call, honestly. Like, XGod and Ashton, they just played super clinical, like very, very clean Legion that we saw in the first series against Drakir and FC Lucy, and they knocked out the tournament favourites, remember, as well. So I think just on that alone, I have to give it to X-Crash. But again, the margins are just absolutely tiny. Like, this really could go either way. It probably comes down to a couple of percent one way or the other. One, like, smart decision is just going to flip the game on its head. And we just saw Burnt and Green make a very, very smart decision in a game that was all but lost against Kingdans and Widdowson. They snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. So, I mean, when we're talking about games coming down to the wire, it really is plays like that that can make the difference. So I don't know, guys. It's just too close to call. I think my head says XGod and Ashton, but my heart says Burnt and Green.
That's fair.
What about you
Gotta
guys?
root. I mean, I gotta root for my tagline. I am right now the #1 Green Spirit fanboy. He is maybe not in peak form, but he is an absolute beast. I'll be rooting for him to pop off. He told me he played horribly the last 2 games, but I know there's God Spirit hiding somewhere in there.
I mean, if that's horribly, if horribly was enough to defeat Widdowson and Kingdans, then I don't want to see him playing well, because that was pretty scary stuff. Adams, what about you? Any favourites?
I personally think it's gonna be XGod and Ashton because they have more experience in tournaments, but I also think that Ashton's playstyle is gonna do the work versus Julian and Green. If they from the games I saw, they like to stay low workers a lot, so maybe Ashton can just pop up more often and just be unstoppable in the late game. So we'll see. And also, if he can like we saw the games versus Rekir and Lucy, if he can mix the saves early
Yeah.
game, like if you can send this Ogre again on 8 with one wave skip, it's gonna be very hard for Julian and Green to stop this.
Oh yeah, right, for sure. I mean, even Burnt Stas Overbuilder, with his value being completely off the charts, is going to struggle with receiving a 260 send after a one-wave skip, right?
I mean, that's the dangerous thing with Ashen. I mean, he always has high workers. When he starts saving, it gets pretty dangerous stuff.
Yeah, that is one of those moments. Like you're enjoying the game, you're getting income sends every wave, you think that Ashton's feeding you, and then all of a sudden he skips one wave and it's just panic time because you know you're getting a massive send in 1 or 2
Yeah.
waves time.
Like, I'm not getting my send here because I always count with it, and then you're fucked.
Yeah, that was a very, very scary player, Ashton Butcher. He does it better than anyone else, I think, the Snowball. So let's see. We have got Ashton in the lobby. All of the players are here. Let's see if we can get this show on the road. Alright, guys, here it is, the grand final of this July Nova Cup. A very special month, I think, with all of the new players, so welcome. I hope we have a bunch of new players watching the stream today. I hope you're enjoying the show. You won't see Legion any better than this. This is very high level, super strategic, very, very talented players here, and game number 1 of the final is about to begin. Let's go.
Any chaos pickers in the chat?
Yeah, let's go.
Nope.
Oh, no chaos.
No chaos today. I didn't saw any chaos.
We do see
Look at
Ashton
this.
opening with the YOLO again, though, and he's got, once again, I've got to say, a pretty solid YOLO roll. Like, he's maybe a little bit over-reliant on Pierce, a little bit over-reliant on Natural Armor, but it's a very solid roll for the early game, and he can just re-roll probably around Wave 8 to try and find something to kill Wave 8, but other than that, he's looking solid for the first 6 or 7 waves.
Yeah, he's managed to find every defense type, so that's pretty good.
Mhm.
I think XGod is one priestess away from having the best roll in the game.
Yeah, he really is. And Burnt Dasbro, meanwhile, he has Flower Mask if he wants to go for an AoE roll. He also has Butcher Sovereign with Nekomata if he wants to play something more single target focused. And Green has a pretty solid roll. Like, nothing too exciting there for Green, I don't think, but a pretty stable roll as well.
I really like roll from XGod. It's such a nice roll. Like you have this Berserker, and then on 3 you add just Serpent, and you are just set up for the full game, like until 10. And you have this Madman if you want on 5, or if you want Deep Coiler. But such a nice roll. You can push very hard with it, and it's
very clear power spikes that make it like easy to shift your gold, get out the units you want to keep your curve going, to scale up nice.
Yeah. And we have the double angler from Burnt and Green Spirit. So talking about power spikes, these guys will both have a big jump up around wave 7 or 8, usually when they first upgrade the Kingpin, and then expect to see them both pushing workers very hard once they do get that Kingpin on the board. Alright, there is a slight worker lead in favour of Burnt and Green, but that's only because XGod and Ashton don't have 50 gold yet. Do expect them both to push as soon as they can. But having said that, even having the 5th worker alive for a few more seconds, it is generating a slight advantage in the early game.
Yep. For stuff like Berserker, yeah.
Julian has a little bit tricky roll, because you are a little bit vulnerable to big saves, and XGod can do big saves versus this Flower Angler.
Yeah, he can, but having said that, XGod did send a king up on wave 2, and that's enabled Burnt to push 7 workers. Just no fear here whatsoever. He'll be able to upgrade that angler into a bounty hunter on wave 4 to collect more stacks. That's maybe the most vulnerable point in his early game until maybe wave 6 or so. But
yeah, I think the atoms are definitely a huge help there because they smooth out the single target and the early game. Like 6 becomes less of a problem with the double atom setup, just because they split tank so well. I honestly think 7 could be like one of his bigger problems. His angler just went missing.
Oh no, the Anglers missed out on all of those stacks. It did get up to 58, which is not bad, but Green Spirit, he's leaking 61% here to a DT on 3. Just how bad do you have to be?
I think this is the first time I see Green Spirit leaking in first 10 waves.
Yeah, he went 6 workers and I guess got punished for it.
Paid the price.
Yeah, never push again.
Oh,
So
here's
he can
the
get his bounty, yeah.
here's the Dino Send coming out from Burnt. Will he add to that? I'm not sure he will. Ashton's on pretty solid value, but the Aqua, which is now so good on wave 3 and 5, is actually a little bit weaker on 4, I think, than it used to be.
Yeah. He does have like Warg and Warg's little brother, which are both very good on wave 4. So maybe that's just enough. It puts some good aggro here.
The Dino is going left, where it will tank the Howler and the Fire Elemental basically forever, but he just has, I mean, such good value. All of his damage is Pierce, all of his tanks are natural armor. The Fire Elemental goes down now, and the Dino, I mean, okay, the Dino is dead, so this is just a hold now for Ashton. He's pretty happy with that. It was only an 80 send, though. But here's a full tryhard send on wave 5. Xgod sending the Imps, Ashton sending the Hermit.
Yeah, this is what I was afraid a little bit. So it's gonna be very, very hard for Julian to hold these imps.
Yeah. I mean, you were saying, Offmer, as well, that the Atom likes to smooth out the early game, which it can. Like, if this Atom tanks the boss and survives, then Burnt can actually do fairly well here. But if this Atom dies before the boss, he's in a lot of trouble. Oh, the Atom is doing its job so far. The boss is going down. Is it going to be quick enough, though? The Atom, it does survive. Okay, that's big, because now he can pick off quite a few more creeps before his melee units go down. But Green Spirit, though, he is struggling here against the Hermit's End. 67% leak on Ashton just against income. 57 for Burnt. 74, though, for Green. And what's more, that Hermit healing all of the leaks up to full health. They're going to take a ton of king damage here. And it's only wave 5.
Yeah.
It's very nice by Ashton. That was what I was mentioning. If he skip and he sent power mercs, you just doesn't count it.
You know you're in trouble.
Yeah. And now, like, Green Spirit leak on 3 to small income send. Now he leaked big on 5, and he's gonna face these big workers, and he cannot come back, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's really struggling already. And guys, they're on 60% king HP, and it's only wave 6 already. Like, this feels pretty rough for Burnt and Green. What do they need to do if they want to come back into this game?
And they need to find king damage somehow, or they need to hold, or like Ashton and Xgod need to go for a long stick, and Julian and Green have to hold it completely. But the thing is, they went for some like Incub King to get some regen going, but Ashton is already super far pushed, and this is only going to make it worse.
Does he leak here, though? No. I think the wave 6 is just not strong enough to break through Ashton, and it was only a DT send as well, remember.
And Imps on 7.
Okay. So Xgod, he was pleased with the performance of his Imps on wave 5. He's going for a repeat performance here on 7. Now Burnt, as usual, has a lot of value, but he's even shifting a bit of gold here. He wants to try and get that Kingpin online for wave 8, but this might end up biting him here on 7 because his build is looking pretty weak here, honestly.
Yeah, no Arcane here, and Drake is gonna shred all the stuff, so Drake is perfect send here.
Green does have a Tantrumed Hellraiser, though, so I think he should be able to hold. Oh no! The Hellraiser's tanking the Drake, though! This could be very dangerous for him, because that's pretty much all of his damage at this point. The Hellraiser, I mean, it is still doing its job, but it dies now. This will be a leak for Green. And Burnt, how are you doing?
Oh, he killed all the Imps, so
okay.
Might be good enough with the lifesteal.
He still has the Atom alive.
The baby leak, it looks like. But the thing with Green is, it's like the mass split. If you do upper split and you get one tank send, the mask on the right that's higher up freezes when it hits the BT, and then the Drake goes left.
Exactly, and as Adams is pinging here, Green Spirit has 7 workers while Ashton has 13. So Ashton's holding every wave while having nearly double the workers that Green has. This is really, really rough for the power index.
Yeah,
I mean,
not
he's-
even Kingpin gonna save you here. Sure, you will hold here, but facing 13 workers when you are 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
And Burnt
No way.
Burnt may very well not hold the income resend as well, because he did not get the Kingpin online.
Yeah, this one might be tricky for him, honestly.
He has full
But-
cat with lifesteal. Maybe that will be good enough, but
Yeah,
you
no damage
take
sends.
time to kill this dino.
Yeah, the cat is very, very good here, but the rest of his units are terrible. What is important, though, is that this Atom stayed alive, because that is a good source of damage for him here on Wave 8. So it looks like he's doing okay. Green Spirit, of course, is holding, but he was 7 workers up until Wave 8, so... Yeah, it looks
Look
like
at the-
Burnt actually is leaking, but only small.
Just look at the income difference. It's like 1 worker per wave.
Yeah, that's insane, actually. So Green is able to push those workers now, but even his full push after getting Ascend here, he's still going to be behind in workers compared to Ashton and X-God. Alright, I think the one saving grace here, though, is that Burnt and Green are saving their Mythium, while X-God and Ashton are falling into an income-sending pattern. But that said, I mean, with the 14 workers for both X-God and Ashton, they're just generating so much more Mythium than Burnt and Green.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean they can just income king all the wave and like doesn't care in this game pretty much, because like if they decide to, okay, like if Julian and Green decide to go big and leak them,
Mhm.
they still can then just stop it and go for final blow to
Yeah.
them.
And just look at those
mean-
income numbers again, Adams. Ashton is now more than double the income compared to Green Spirit. This is a very rough spot for the power index. How they have an absolute mountain to climb to get back into this game.
The only angle I see is Overwork 12, but even then, like Adam said, all they have to do is not die, and then they just win the game after that.
Yeah, like they are doing it. They are just incoming, making the income, and it's like so hard for Julian and Green to do anything. Like it's already like very hard for them even leak, not to even like deal some king damage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there is also a pawn shop, so maybe Xgod can then just pawn shop his Theta and just
Yeah.
build for 11-12.
And he can just he can just like spam Harden, and then just sell them when they don't get us in.
Yeah. Now this income drip is starting to feed Burnt and Green, so it is giving them a chance to get back into the game. But like you say, they're just so far behind that even with this continual feed, it's a tall order for them to get any real damage done against X-God and Ashton.
I mean, Ashton is sending every wave to Green, and he has war workers
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
Green. He's just now catching up, so the
But-
gap is insane.
We do see Burnt fully pushing here on wave 11, so I guess they're going to go for a wave 12 send against X-God and Ashton, and they do pick up the overwork as well. So if Burnt can pro leak here, this could be very good actually, especially if we see X-God harden here. That'll be interesting.
Think that X-God looked like he wants to prep full Tantrum Mass for 12, which is just an insane read with
Oh,
Pawn Shop.
what? This guy is just very, very smart, I think. He sold half of his units to prep for Tantrum Mass. He's going to be a machine on 12.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just saw the play that the only thing they can do is overwork and Big 12, right?
Yeah.
And he's just fully preparing to counter that play.
Very, very smart play there from X-God.
Yes.
And they don't send the income on 11 to even give a chance of a pro league.
That's very nice play, yeah. They could like king up maybe, but
Yeah.
they can do it
Well,
next round, so.
I guess there's a pro league either way.
Yeah.
Which is
Burnt
pretty
is
good.
pro
That's what you
leaking.
wanna do
It's
with
going to
Overwork.
generate a ton of Mythium here. We see the question mark pings coming out from XGod and Ashton. And Ashton is just sending that income.
Yeah.
Alright, these
Income
sends
gain
are
live.
massive now from Burnt and Green, but as we've already said, XGod and Ashton are absolutely monstrous in terms of their value. And XGod, with that super smart game read there, prepping his Hellraisers on wave 11 so that they're all Tantrum, dealing 25% more damage here on 12, and he's going to harden his Mudmen as well. I'm sure he's just going to do way too well, I think.
Okay, sold everything that's
Oh, wow.
not Mudman.
That's some punch action.
Yeah.
I like it.
As
I like
triple
it.
hardened golem, triple tantrum mask. I mean, that's the
This
most.
Okay, one misplay. I think this is not gonna drag anything here. So,
Yeah.
I don't think you
DPS
want it
mask.
to drag anything, honestly. I think these Tantrum masks need to stay alive as long as possible. You don't really want them to split tank at all. But the sends are enormous. There's 620 for XGod. There's 700 there for Ashton Butcher. So they are undervalued, but he's still 2.3k value on wave 12 here for Ashton, 2.1 for XGod. And it does look like Ashton is going to leak. But XGod, with those Tantrum Hellraisers, sure, the percentage looks big, 113%, and Ashton 130. But all of XGod's creeps are super low HP, and they have pretty good King upgrades. They're going to take King damage here, but they're going to be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, one thing to note is that the overwork actually let Julian catch up in terms of income. So he's in a resource. So obviously Green is like dead, but
Yeah.
it gives him a chance now that Julian is actually in the game.
I mean,
went to 51% there.
yeah, he's on par in terms of income, Offmer, but he's 500 value behind Ashton Butcher.
Yeah.
So it's going to take him a little while to catch back up, even if he has a decent amount more income.
I wonder what XGod was needed to say it for Ashton to be plus value and not push and also
Well, I mean, it seems like 15 is the obvious outcome now.
Yeah. And Burnt is fully shifting here. He's probably going to pro league again, honestly.
Oh, he built. Okay, I thought he didn't build anything. I was like, he's your full dehardened.
And the calm down masks as well, not particularly strong on wave 13, but yeah, because he added the gate, he's able to easily hold here against No Send. Burnt, though, is that a different story with his Kingpins? Ashton Butcher is unsure. Is this going to be another mind game play from Burnt and Green? Because actually Burnt shifted a lot of gold here on wave 13, so maybe they're just trying to bait away 14 Send, giving them the pressure advantage as we move into the late game period. Yeah,
Maybe,
and
but-
Burnt does leak here. So let's see, do XGod and Ashton take the bait? Will they send here on 14?
I think they should not send because like XGod has full mask prepared for 14 with golems, so
And you're
also
you're right, Adams. They do hold their nerve, but XGod is
I
full
mean, you just
hardening.
pawn shot them next wave.
True.
He's really gonna.
yeah, I mean he can pawn shop it, yeah,
Yeah.
but you're still losing a lot of
Losing-
gold.
Yeah, I mean. this
Like
is one of
every
the-
golem is 40 gold lost, right?
It's
Yeah,
a
I
lot
guess.
of gold. So I suppose he should full Sui for 15 if he see no send because he's dead on 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play.
Ashton is very strong though. But having said that, Burnt probably wants to full push into Ashton as well, right? So interesting
mean-
which way this one goes.
XGod is pushing.
XGod is pushing, Burnt is not. So maybe Ashton's just able to hold the longest.
But
Yeah, I
Chris
think-
Green's
It's
overvalued.
quite nice.
Old, yeah.
Yeah. Let's have a look at Green's build. I mean, he's going to have a Hades, and he has got a bunch of badges as well.
And Tantrum Masks are no joke. I mean, if he protects them with a melee up here, then they can do quite a high amount of damage on 15
Yeah,
to
yeah.
help out the Hades.
And Burnt
He
is
does
just
protect
popping
both.
some Zeus's, hoping to get some magic damage there against the wave. He's definitely leaking, though, I think, with XGod pushing 35 workers, so Burnt should leak for sure. Ashton double boosting his Orchids. He's also got Life Binders on there. I mean, Burnt is actually the closest to value, despite XGod's suicide push here.
Yeah, I'm surprised Ashen didn't pawn shop some of his the Bad Bay, like the Sumpang or the Coiler maybe.
Mhm.
Just to get some more arcane out.
Wait a minute, guys. Are Burnt and Green just going to pull another victory from the jaws of defeat? Because Ashton is
Oh,
leaking here, right?
And this is looking like a hold.
Yeah, that is a hold for Green Spirit. Roman?
Is this another heist?
Oh! Ashton does leak. It's a very small leak while Burnt leaks the entire wave, but Roman, Green Spirit, he is full holding here on wave 15. That's going to keep them in the game, I think. But 16 creeps reaching the king. Burnt and Green, they were so dead in the early game, and I think they've just won here in game number 1.
This is actually impossible.
Insane.
I would not believe this if I didn't saw this.
They were so out in this game. Again, look at the graph, Adams. That
Yeah.
Ashton and XGod are so far ahead in the early game, it's unreal. We were all saying that there's basically no chance for Burnt and Green to come back into this game. And guess what? They prove us wrong once again. These guys really are the masters of the comeback, it seems.
Yeah, I mean,
Impressive.
I
Impressive.
think they went for like the obvious play, which was to keep incoming, but I think the like correct quote unquote play is probably to just go 11 and to
Yeah.
deny them a 12 play.
I thought that they have such a lead that this is like safe play that
Mhm.
never lose, right? Because you just
Yeah.
do it and just take the damage, but actually they take more damage that they should, and there was like perfect pro league on 11 from Julian, and they sent like
Yeah.
700 and 600, so that just catapult them back into the game.
It was
But
too much
as
for
you
them to
said-
deal with, yeah.
As you said, the best play was definitely like not income king on 9 and 10 and just pressure them and just play it with the big advantage on
Yeah.
11.
But I totally understand that you feel like there's no way this game is losable. Yeah, I just think I'm king. They're gonna overwork 12. Then we would go 15. We win the race. They have bad units.
Exactly. That was I was thinking as well, but
mean-
they got punished for it.
Just look at this wave 7, guys. Like, wave 7, Green Spirit's leaking to income, while Ashton has double his worker count. So the fact that they were able to come back being so far behind in the early game is really, really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I think these people better to not get a huge early game lead against these guys, because somehow it just makes them stronger.
Yeah, right? I think Green and Burnt, their game plan does seem to be just play really badly in the early game, fall massively behind, and then just pull some absolute miracle out of nowhere, take your opponents unexpected, and just destroy them in the mid to late game. So, yeah, really cool stuff.
They are definitely good at playing better early game. Like, you can't play worse than that, but on the other hand, they are exceptionally good at spotting that one out or the winning play,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like they show us this game and also in the game versus King and Wither.
Yeah, their macro gameplay has been pretty much perfect so far.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like the early game micro is having
Yeah.
some trouble.
You know, like if they played good, they have like a lot of options and they might choose bad. But if they are so far behind, there's only one option and one play to get get it. So I guess that's also good gameplay.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, I mean, you were hoping, Offma, you're cheering for your number one fanboy, Green Spirit there. I mean, we certainly saw him pull off a very impressive hold there on wave 15, turning around a game that we all three had basically said was lost for them. So really, really impressive play there from Green, turning the game on its head, really, when they were so far behind. What do you think, then, that... what do you think XGod and Ashton need to do in game number 2 to turn things around? Because it felt like they were so dominating in the early game, they can't really be second-guessing their early game performance. Is it some sort of mid-game decision-making they need to improve on, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, I think they just need to finish the game when they're ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, just don't fool
Probably
around.
just keep the pressure and
Yeah.
play. Like you had such a big lead, just keep the pressure and finish
Yeah.
the game.
So it was just that drip, drip, drip of income and king sends on wave 9 and 10 that really gave a chance for Burnt and Green to come back into this one. But
Yeah.
guys,
And then they skip on 11,
mhm.
but Julian just pro league there. Like if
Yeah.
they send there, he's like full leaking, so
Yeah.
they will get at least one god. But everything went wrong.
Yeah. But guys, that's enough for game number 1 because game number 2 is ready to go. Let's see who wins this one as we go into game number 2.
Lock in the
Already
priestess.
Yeah, and there is a divine blessing.
Oh,
But
that's a
all
spicy
good
one.
defensive spells. So it will be a strange game.
Doesn't
It's
it
gonna
look
be-
like he would have a better role if he plays around the divine DK? I mean, the priestess is still really good with the steed.
Priest the steed, yeah, and he can get some kingpins with the steeds, right,
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. And X-God there with the lock-in. So you've got to think he's locking in the priestess because he sees the divine blessing, right?
Yeah, I think
would guess.
so. I think I saw it in the left.
And with this play, he's just putting out so much value, so he might go for Starve
Yeah.
Julian, just stay over value and
Mhm.
enable Ashton. That's
Mhm.
probably the gameplay.
Julian,
like,
though, Burnt Dasprot, he's got a very aggressive opener himself. He has the Gate Guard, he has the double Pack Rat as well. This is maybe the highest Mythium generating start in the game.
And Ashton not going for the YOLO. His role looks very Ashton-like. Doesn't have like hard carries, but a mix of some solid units.
Burnt does get snailed, though, so
Ooh.
X-God and Ashton may be expecting him to play Fiesta. He's not, and this snail is going to punish him quite a lot, actually, because not only is he going to leak, but the Pack Rats are way weaker when the waves are so long.
Yeah. A little unlucky, but I'm honestly surprised Escott is willing to snail while starting with a 230 gold opener.
Yeah,
It's,
right? Oh, he actually added the angler. I thought he was just
Yeah.
playing around with that to sort of get the range, you know, but he actually places it and goes for a super slow opener.
Yeah, he got his 4 workers, so he should be fine. And he already gets some lead on Julian. It's also all going according the plan, right? To get very bad early game.
Yeah, and Green chilling on his 5th worker because he's cash out. Even adds the tier 1 already, just in case Ashton could get 40 on him.
Oh, Burnt actually goes for a post-income DT here. Now, Ashton's Oathbreaker's going to die very quickly, but he did add the Sea Serpent, which is a really strong unit on Wave 2.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to do just fine. That's a full hold.
That's 6 workers for him.
Mhm.
Without really being able to be punished on 4 either, because the Serpent is so strong there.
Yeah, this is really good start now for Ashton and X-God, especially with that leak on 1 into Burnt not being able to leak Ashton on 2. The things are starting to already, once again, X-God and Ashton taking an early game lead.
Oh, this roll by Julian is so awkward. Like he's missing the pierce damage. And he needs to overbuild for wave 4 so hard. He probably can't trash around anything.
Maybe he'll go for the boost tech.
Yeah, that's so painful though, right?
Yeah, minus 20 on wave 4, just so you can hold some income. And yeah, he's 3 workers, 2 pack rats, everyone else has 6 workers. So he's not behind yet in Mythium, but soon he will be.
Oh, there's a Brute from Green Spirit, so taking the -3 income already on wave 4.
If he goes for this bounty, he's just gonna leak the whole wave. Go Brood.
He's actually going for a Treant instead, which,
So
I mean, it's probably better than a bounty, but it's still not a good unit on wave 4.
it should leak, I think. Oh my god.
Oh,
Is he
what's
going
he
for the
doing?
bounty?
no.
Build something! Oh,
Oh,
no!
it is a bounty. Okay. This could be dangerous now for X-God. Meanwhile-
Yes, bounties. Oh,
Oh, that Priestess is dying immediately. Didn't even get the second heal off. This is going to be a big leak here for X-God on wave 4.
You need to split on wave 4.
66% leak there for XGod. This is really bad. His Priestess got almost 0 value there. Now, meanwhile, Burnt is able to hold his Dino Send, but he's on 430 value, 3 workers. They don't call him
Only
Burnt
got one
Das
of his
Builder for
rats.
nothing.
Yeah. Dug one of his rats, kept one of them up. I mean, fair enough. It is his weak wave. Let's see how he scales the build from here. But Ashen holding his small income as well.
We've had a lot of very long waves, though, and it's only wave 4, so I think the Pack Rat player might start falling behind if he's not too careful.
True.
Oh.
But X got a little bit help them here. That was a lot of money
Mhm.
going
and-
to them.
Green's gold is so bad. I think
Green
you'd
gold.
roll
Yeah,
for something that you can build, maybe, instead of just spamming some polys.
this is a bit of a rough one, especially when he's receiving a Drake here on
Oh,
wave
he-
5.
He hit something. Oh, thank God. But, Julie?
Oh, the Harbinger for Burnt Das Brot. Okay, it does enable him to double treasure hunt here. He's actually on 545 value even with the double hunt. This really is Burnt Das Builder in his prime.
Plus 70
Snacking that
after you
brute.
get
Yeah.
sent.
It's just as well because Green Spirit is leaking, but having said that, it's only the Drake that's making it through. He was able to kill the entire wave. And Burnt Das Overbuilder easily covering his teammate here in the mid.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
he
something to be said about getting the Harv out. Like, it makes your game a bit smoother, and now you can focus on wave 8 basically only. But, I mean, there is a price to pay. Ashen is quite pushed now.
But once again, Julian was just 5 workers and playing reds, and this
Yeah.
was long wave, so it's not really paying off so far.
If we
Yeah,
look at the
but
total Mythium, Burnt is behind all of the other players. Not by miles, he's only about 10 Mythium behind XGod and Green. But having said that, Ashton is pulling ahead as to be expected. He's generated about 30 Mythium more than anybody else in the game.
Yep.
And also, Julian is playing the Cartel.
Oh, you're right, yeah. So as soon as Wave 11 kicks in, he needs to be ahead. He can't just be going even with the other players.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really needs to do some heavy push and just get back in the game. I mean, he's in the game right now, but he can be in trouble after 10.
And some more brutes from Green targeting this weak wave 7 of Priestess. And I mean, this is just a lot of bad units on the wave.
Yeah, XGod obviously
don't
sees it
think
coming,
it's-
so he's going for a hardened Mudman here, just trying to defend
Yeah.
the send he knows is coming. But this is 3 brutes coming out from Green Spirit. I think XGod is going for a bit of a leak here on 7.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I worry sometimes when you play like angler builds and then you have a unit that wants to use Steed. It just hurts the Steed's value so much.
Ashton, though, he should be more than fine. I think Burnt just missed having 60 Mythium here on 7. Interesting whether he would have sent a brute if he had achieved that, because that could have got a leak out of Ashton. But as it is, Ashton's going to be more than fine. And of course, XGod is leaking, although it's actually not as bad as I thought it could be. This is a 65% leak here, and it's mainly just the brutes.
Yeah, he had some nice aggro there. Holding pretty good considering his situation.
Yeah,
Definitely good hold with the values, with the units he had, and the
Yeah.
sand he was facing. Ashton is pushing 13 workers, not more. He could probably, but he was probably reading that it was not full send, so he's gonna prepare a little bit more.
XGod, he is pretty low workers. He was on 7 workers for wave 7, by the way, so he did do very well against the big send there from Green, but he was very, very low workers until now, where he's still only on par with Burnt, but Burnt has those pack rats.
Yeah, he is behind Julian in terms of like Mythium generated, but you know, he is on the lock-in, so we should expect him to be a bit behind compared to everyone else.
Alright.
Julian is saving quite a lot. He's gonna get some nice value for wave 10, 7. For 9, I mean.
He could go for something like an Ogre on 9. He's going to be able to hit that 200 Mythium mark pretty soon. So if he does want to do that, he can. Green Spirit is holding against the 140 send, it looks like. Burnt is holding against the Fiend, so that's totally fine. Does he hit 200 Mythium? He does. Will he pull the Ogre button? He will. Okay, there it is. The big yellow guy. Ashton, what is your answer for this? Because this is a serious send.
He has an Orchid in the splits and an Avenger in the main side, so that's a lot of Swift armor. He doesn't have much fortified, but against the Ogre, these units can do pretty good.
Yeah.
It's very good units versus Ogre, but not versus the Wave.
Yeah.
I can imagine he will boost, and the Orchid can probably clear the right side.
Although
But there is
Ashton,
the
it
bird.
seems, does not want to waste any gold, so he's not even boosting here.
That's kind of misplay.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
Xgod
think
is playing plus
Xgod's
105 value,
I
right? So I
got
think
you.
Ashton's just thinking his teammates got him no matter what.
Oh, the Avenger doesn't even tank for the Slime Mommy,
Yeah, they're pretty
so it just insta-dies.
bad aggro, honestly, for Ashton Butcher. It looks like he's going to go
But,
for a leak, but even then, he's doing very
Just
well.
the Ogre, yeah. I mean, he's just got good value, good units, so he
Yeah.
can DPS a lot of the wave down.
I think with the boost he might hold, but
Yeah.
this is very, very good.
Hey, he's
Without
he's
boost.
he's
Like,
totally fine with the way this played out. He
Yeah,
has the
exactly.
worker lead. He leaks only the ogre. He didn't have to spend any permanent gold on that orchid boost, and now he has 17 workers compared to the 11 on Burnt Dasperate, who, remember, guys, is playing Cartel.
Yeah, his spot is a bit trickier for sure. It's gonna be more if he can be ahead of X-God in the game, and more between Green and Ashton as the carry roles this game, I think.
Oh. We are going to have an Ashton problem on our hands, I think, guys, in this game, because he really is off to a very strong start.
Yeah, and he found a good Fort tank to fix his weakness perhaps on 12.
Yeah, the bunk, very, very solid. Just rounds his roll off perfectly, almost.
Yeah, and he has a good hero or vamp aura. This is I know he loves to put the bunk on the ABS or the Firelord and stuff.
I think the one thing that Ashton is lacking in his role is some sort of single target magic damage, but he has all of the other types covered very nicely.
I also want to point out that the cartel overall in this game is strange pick to me, because you want to pick it when there's like offensive spells most, or like
Yeah.
a venture editor or something, and you are expecting to get ahead and pick those spells or just finish the game sooner. But with 3 super hard defensive spells, it's not that appealing because the game is usually going longer than
Yeah.
13 or 14 with those spells.
Fair.
For sure.
And with the cartel penalty kicking in and Burnt having the lowest workers in the game, he is going to start falling off pretty hard in the next few waves, I think.
Yeah.
We have some serious Mythium stored by Xgod and Ashton. They have more than 300 each, and the sense looks like it's gonna be 13.
Yeah, it's
At
tricky
least
because
Hmm?
Julian and Green have different strong waves, but you probably just want to target Green at this point.
Yeah. Having said that, though, Burnt, despite being like in a really rough spot right now, if he does get a send on wave 13, and if he is able to hold it, maybe that gives him a way back into the game, you know?
He
Yeah.
is looking like an absolute beast there.
Yeah. And of course,
Yeah, I think he can
X-God...
hold though.
Come again?
Do you think he can hold 13 with those values? I mean, he has units, but the value is gonna be lacking.
Yeah, I
He's-
think he should not go for the Avenger like he was thinking. Yeah, I like the just going for tanks since you have so much damage already.
That's a good choice. I think the Zeuses deal a ton of damage on 13, and he can even upgrade that Starcaller as well. Then those Zeuses are really, really threatening.
Yeah, Starcaller should be the choice for sure.
And it's just Income King
King.
here from Burnt and Green, so they're definitely expecting the 13 send. And here it comes from Xgod and Ashton. We have Four Eyes Witch and Snail Spam. We have Four Eyes Imps and Mole. Let's see, Burnt and Green, how well can you do against these sends? Because they're pretty big.
Yeah, the Divine is gonna let basically mean that you can never full send here on 13. Like it's just almost always a hold.
Yeah. Even though Xgod's like pretty far undervalue, he has the Pegasus, he has the Divine Blessing Azeria, he's just holding more or less anything, especially with the fairly low worker counts on the side of Burnt and Green.
Yeah, I think this is gonna come down to if Julian can hold because I don't think Green has a chance. Looking at the fact that he's gone and he has okay tanks.
He does have a
but he basically
Fatalizer
only
with
has one
Hero
data.
Aura.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
Julian's
send
also
is
getting the
massive.
smaller send. Yeah.
The send is massive. 520 for Burnt, 600 for Green. Let's see if we can watch both lanes because Green Spirit,
doing
I mean,
pretty
he's
good.
actually doing quite well. He's only leaking one of the Golems plus the ranged units. Burnt, though, with those Zeuses buffed by the Starcaller aura, he's doing extremely well as well, leaking just one low HP creep and a Four Eyes. And yeah, I mean, they're going to take some king damage, but really it's not that bad.
Yeah, could have been
it's
worse for sure, but
Could be
they're
worse.
still behind.
They was behind and now they are even more behind. They taking damage. They giving God to Xgod and Ashton. They are way behind in workers, so
It's gonna be
it's-
some overbuild action, I think.
very
And-
good odds, but they still lost some resources there.
Yeah, and Ashton is just having the game of his life at this point. He has 27 workers. He's on a 100 gold shutdown bounty, by the way, because he's so far ahead economically. This is a pretty rough spot. But having said that, we've seen Burnt and Green work their way out of a couple of rough spots already on the cast today, so I really am hesitant to count these guys out.
I would
Yep.
do it, but because I saw that they can do one thing and execute it perfectly, I'm not gonna call it yet. Over.
I mean, I think their plan is to try and skip 15 and hold.
Yeah, and go for a
might
wave
be
16
tricky.
send.
There are some workers here.
Yeah.
Those are pretty strong.
I mean, Ashton and Xgod, they're determined not to be caught out again. They're going for a big, heavy push into this Wave 15 play. They're saying, okay, Burnt and Green, you guys want to overbuild and starve. Well, we're going to push and send you more Mythium than you can possibly deal with.
I think this Shaman doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I feel like Needler or something like a big tank would be making more sense versus like an OT build.
Yeah,
I can see the Kraken there.
Yeah.
Kraken is
Kraken
good,
Maul.
Siege Ram is good.
But the stun is still very
It's big,
strong.
yeah.
Very big, yeah. So
They have got fully upgraded King attack, though, with only 62% HP. They can afford to leak maybe the boss plus Shaman, but not much more.
Yeah. I think Green is gonna have some trouble here.
but Jesus, those
Oh, yeah.
sense, like they can.
Oh, that
600
Needler
and-
popped off twice. This is the pretty decent leak here. He is getting some damage into the boss.
Boss is dead and
And
Julian's
Burnt
dead, at
is
least.
killing his boss. Okay, that's pretty solid there from Burnt Das Builder. He does leak, it's only 64%, and with Green's boss being at least damaged somewhat, they are going to survive here, I think.
Yeah.
But even though they saved, like Ashton and King Xgod can send almost the same on the 16
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Like they're generating so much
Oh.
more Mythium.
And yeah, sure, they survive, but it's 2% HP, guys. Like, even
Yeah.
the smallest leak now, it only takes one ogre to walk down there and fart on their king, and this game is over.
And Ashen and Exile aren't even gonna income, they're just gonna get some king. And build for 17?
Yeah, I mean, Xgod's very undervalued here. He's 700 under. Ashton's going to be about 500 under when he's finished building here. But I don't know, guys. Like, they can't really die on 16 if they have max king spell, and they do. And Xgod's actually going for a post-income send. This is spicy now. So they've read that Burnt wants to suicide push into Ashton, and they're just going to try and get a ton of gold here.
Ashton saving. Okay.
Okay. Interesting. So how are they doing against these Sens? Because X-God gets 580, Ashton gets 600. The Azeria is still alive, just generating infinite value there with that Divine Blessing, getting so much healing in. Even the white main taking the damage. So sure, the Azeria goes down, but it's just done its job so well here. And meanwhile, Ashton is fully holding the 600 Sen there from Burnt.
Very nice build for 16 on Ashton. It's the hero.
Burnt does hold his double imp send there from X-God, but I mean, guys, again, I really don't want to call it again for Burnt and Green being out of the game, but this one, surely they can't come back. Not this time, not the third time in a row.
I mean, they can't even save that Mythium to break Ashton or X-God anymore with those markers.
Yeah, I mean, 18 is coming, right?
And Ashton, once again, has double the worker counts of both of his opponents here on Wave 17. This guy is on an absolute roll in this game. What's his shutdown bounty at now? 275 shutdown. Wow.
Oh, man.
All right, Burnt and Green, what is your plan here in this game?
Ooh, Hardens.
Okay.
Maybe trying to protect them from like a full Sui Re or something crazy like that, but I mean, Ashton will probably hold longer than X-God anyway on 18.
Yeah, Ashton's pretty solid on 18. Like, he has very bad damage there, but the triple hero Sovereign is just tanking for days.
He hasn't got the coiler, so you can't really send 4-eyes stuff like that.
Now, we do get full sends from all the players. X-God is full pushing, it seems, to try and break Burnt Das Builder.
Yeah, and Green going for some income. So
Alright, so he's
I don't know
ready.
if he has to read, but
Wow.
that's bold. I mean, he does have like an infinite amount of Thetas. That's 4. Pretty good on 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
But no
is getting like, he's getting like a 2k send with no split on 18. So.
Yeah, that is the problem with a gun build, right? Because 18 does the splash damage, so if all of your units are concentrated in the middle like this... Oh, we got this from Burnt.
They can fuck off, trust. I misclipped the imps on 16, by the way.
Oh, X-God, I did think that was a bit of a weird play, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think he actually wanted to...
Okay, so here are the Wave 18 sends. There's 540 Income King against X-God. There's 540 Siege Ram Income King against Ashton. Green Spirit with your infinite Fatalizers. How are you doing here on Wave 18? Will it be enough? The answer is no. He's leaking 180% there against the massive send from Ashton Butcher. And Burnt Das Builder finally leaking here on Wave 18, crumbling under X-God's full push. But Ashton, oh Ashton, easily holding and covering some in the mid. This is a very nice game here. X-God and Ashton closing it out on 18, drawing the series 1-1 as we move into game number 3 now.
Yeah, well played.
Yep.
Look at the graph there was behind early game.
Interesting. So, that goes to show, because Burnt and Green, they deviated from their normal game plan, right? Like, they like to be behind in the early game. And here they were somehow magically ahead in the early game, and as a result, they end up losing.
Yeah, I think that 9 send just basically gave them no chance to get Ashton again.
Yeah, with this 260 send where Ashton leaks nothing but an ogre, I mean, this is just very, very rough now. Ashton is just unstoppable from this point on, it seems. He pushes to 17 workers. He's way ahead of everybody else. He then gets Income King on 13, where they get a bit more king damage against Burnt and Green. And he's just able to push hard and still hold the 600 send on 16, closing out the game there with this enormous 1.4k send against Green Spirit on Wave 18. So very, very nicely played there from Team X-Crash.
Very nice. They keep the pressure and they just go for the king damage, like 13, 15, and just finish the game. So no more Income King ups.
No more Income King ups. Yeah, they didn't make the same mistake they did in game number 1. Alright, guys, so now the series is tied It is a best of 5, so we do need one team to win 3 games in order to take home the trophy. But everything so far is even Stevens. I mean, it could go either way. XGod and Ashton may be riding high off the back of that last game, and we'll have to see who is able to take the lead now as we move into game number 3.
Yeah, I
And-
think Julian and Green can be happy. It's 1-1 so far
Mhm.
after 2 games because they could be very easily be 0-2 now.
Yeah. After the upset in game number 1, right? Like, that was a real steal from those guys because they were dead in game number 1, and they still managed to bring it back.
And I hope they will change some parts of their gameplay. I
Mhm.
would like them to push more and maybe go for some more risky maybe play
Mhm.
or like Fiesta. I actually like to see Fiesta
Yeah.
or something like just get something done. And you really need to push into Ashton if you want to do any damage.
Yeah. You
Switching up the
cannot
pace
play
could be good.
scared, right, against Ashton and XGod, because if you're playing scared, especially against a player like Ashton, and you're not pushing the workers, like you think you're being safe by building a little bit more value, by maybe not pushing the extra worker just to be on the safe side, but Ashton's just going to exploit that because he will push that worker. And he will be on 50% more workers than anybody else in the game by the time Wave 10 rolls around. And we've seen already in the first 2 games, despite the fact that they lost in game 1, like he was just so far ahead of everybody else in both games. Like this is Ashton Butcher at his finest, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Like if they don't stop him, it's gonna be just Ashton's show. But yeah, I think we will see some Fiesta from Julian this game. I can smell it.
You can smell it in the air. But remember, XGod was smelling that last game as well because he snailed Burnt on Wave 1.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
yeah. Burnt was not Fiesta, but he did leak with his Gate Guard with his 2 Pack Rats. So that was a pretty good start there from XGod already. And maybe he goes for it again. As we go into game 3, we'll have to see. The players just asked for a quick 1 minute before we go into the next game. So we do need to pad a little bit more while the players entertain each other, it seems. Just waiting for Burnt to come back. He's probably practicing his building skills, I'm sure. Oh, by the way, guys, while we're waiting for the players to come back, I've heard some very exciting news from the developers just before we started the finals. Legion TD2 actually hit the highest number of players ever online today. I think it was just over 6,000 or something like that, all online at the same time. So
Ooh.
the big marketing push weekend, it really has paid off, it seems. We've had a ton of new players. I hope all of those new guys are enjoying the game. I know we love it a lot, and I hope you will come to love it just as much as we do. All right. Thankfully, the players are back, and now we can stop padding for time and get straight into the action because game number 3 is here. Both teams are tied 1-1 in this best of 5 series. Let's see who can take the lead as we see game number 3.
Yeah, hoping Ashton will show us his 3rd mastermind.
Oh, Pixie with Fiesta. That's
What a
nice
cheater.
luck.
Oh, double Fiesta! Burnt and Ashton both picking up the Fiesta. And yeah, Burnt Dasprote, despite the 50% reduced chances of rolling it, he has got that seedling with his Fiesta. Let's
Like-
And it's actually so good that also Ashton picked Fiesta because it's a good advantage if
Mhm.
your Fiesta is sending into opponent's Fiesta.
And he can just generate absolutely obscene amounts of Mythium as well, right? Because he can push without any fear. He's happy to leak a little bit. And he's just going to get +5 Mythium every time those Chloropixies die. Green Spirit, meanwhile, his role's actually not amazing
Yeah.
for covering, I don't think. You really want
he's
something
rerolling.
that generates like free value, you know? Stuff like Gate Guard, Atom, stuff like that is perfect for covering your Fiesta teammate. He has got Pilgrim.
Pilgrim, yeah, exactly. Pilgrim can be that unit that
Mm-hmm.
can cheat some extra value
Yeah.
in mid.
Now,
This is
Ash.
the rats while playing Fiesta tech.
Apparently so. Now, Ashton, he does not have a good Fiesta opener, so he's going with the Treant, which of course does not leak on wave 1, but I expect him to just push really hard and then presumably leak on wave 2. Oh, he's got the Windhawk.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Okay.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
Oh, and
Like,
the snail came out from Burnt as well. So Burnt is sniffing things correctly, it seems. This is going to be a big leak against the Butcher with a very long wave here on wave 1 because Burnt is leaking himself, but only 3 creeps on the side of the Builder. Meanwhile, the Butcher leaks 11.
Everything we say goes wrong. Like, you don't wanna have long waves. It's pack rats, but
Yeah.
Ashton is playing Fiesta and the pack rat, so he's like,
He's
I think
kind of
he's
fine with
wishing
it.
he kept that tree now for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah. And such a long waves this is gonna be, and like this should benefit Julian so much in this game.
He's got to
Yeah.
deal with the 60 cent from XGod, but I think he doesn't care that much about holding it.
I mean, the
Gets
send.
2 harpies, yeah, I mean...
2
he can
harpies,
kill a
adds a
lot with
pixie as
this.
well, or adds a seedling as well, I should say. He's on 200 value, so even though he has 5 workers, he's basically on 4 worker value here, just because he got so much gold from Ashton's leak, and his own Fiesta, of course.
Ashton's gonna hide that he's Fiesta. Knows that he can get a 40 here, so just 5 worker, keep the rat up.
And he only receives
Julian
1
also with the
snail
correct
from
read.
Burnt, yeah, so that's very, very good. Burnt is playing out of his mind here in game number 3, it seems. When the chips are down, he really does pull out all the stops.
And Green making the correct decision to overbuild.
Yep. Burnt, I mean, it's a 64% leak, but again, I think he's perfectly fine with that. He's got his Pixie Mythium, he's got his Fiesta value, he's got 6 workers. I think he's very pleased with the way this game is going.
Oh, okay, they sent 3. I was
I
wondering
thought they
if
go
they
4,
want...
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to say that they can go super hard on 4, like when they saw those 2 units and those 2 units. Like 4 was so appealing.
Yeah. The 60 cent
Yeah, like-
can still get some damage in against Ashton, though. I mean, the Treant is so good on the first wave that you place it, right? Like, he might just do extremely well here. It might even be a hold.
It is. Yeah, it's kind of a beast. I wonder what its threshold is on wave 3, actually. I haven't seen it. Is it just 2-shotting them?
Oh, the casket, yeah. So XGod, he's easily holding. Ashton, I mean, his Treant actually is the last unit to take focus, so Burnt leaking 50% to no send is perfect
wow,
for his
it's actually-
Fiesta.
It's really bad threshold, actually. It
Yeah.
takes 3 shots, leaves them at 1 HP.
Takes 3 shots, but more to the point, the Treant just didn't take enough of the aggro, so the Pack Rat and the Windhawk both dying very early, results in a 44% leak for Ashton. He is Fiesta though, so, you know, could be worse.
Yeah. He's Fiesta and he has Pixie, so he's definitely fine with leaking.
See what Julian decides to build here, because he's got kind of funny gold. Okay, well, I forgot. You can just build more pixies.
Yeah, looks good to me. Only 1 more Pro League, then he can push full.
Yep. Just get the casket ready for 7 so he doesn't leak everything.
Oh, these are some pretty big sends though. So 80 for Burnt, 80 for Green, 60 for XGod. XGod though, I think he's going to be okay. Although, having said that, his casket is dying very early, and that's really all of his damage on this wave.
Yeah.
That might be pretty bad news. I think I called that way too soon. He does kill the Fiend at
Right.
least. Burnt, 63% leak. Green Spirit, of course, is holding. Ashton is holding. And XGod, 67% leak there against the Fiend.
Fiesta
Yeah,
mate
and-
covering, don't worry.
Yeah, and he also couldn't back red in, so yeah, everything is going wrong for XGod and Ashton right now.
Mhm.
Let's see what is the plan for Julian and Green. They could try to go big sends on 7 maybe or 8.
Yeah,
They
I
can
think.
still do it, right? Or
Yeah, 8 looks promising, yeah.
It looks very good if they can do it right now. But XGod and Ashton is saving, so maybe they will be in trouble on 7.
Julian going for 1 more pixie here. I think he's just gonna easy hold 5 though, like this.
Yeah, I mean, the triple pixie is just so much damage against wave 5, even though the boss is going right, I think.
Wow, Ashton greeted so hard here when Julian can actually send him 120.
I mean, it's a good read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And none of his pixies died.
Yeah, that's
None of them? Oh, that's pretty bad, actually.
yeah,
All
it's
three
the
staying
price
alive.
for overbuilding.
Yeah. Burnt Desperate, always a very interesting player, Fiesta player to watch, because he's one of the few Fiesta players that likes to stay on or plus value every single wave.
He only leaks to Ogre on 7, right?
Yeah. Oh, but then he'll get his Fiesta value. Whoa! What
Yeah.
a beast!
So they go
Wow.
for some income here, actually.
Yeah, here comes the Drake from Burnt. I mean, it is income, but it's very good send, actually, against Ashton's board, because he has the Windhawk, he has the Treants, he has even the Pack Rat if he decided to keep that above. The Drake is good against all of those units. So Ashton, I think he will leak here against the income send. Probably won't be terrible. It might be something like just the Drake on its own, and that would be a very good Fiesta for him, actually.
Yeah, but X-God is also getting sand. He has Casket for 7, and this long wave will enable to send Ogres on
Yeah.
7. So it might not be that great to leak Ashton here.
Yeah, this is 160 send. It's actually not too shabby. And I'm sure Ashton is going to get one more Rocco, but that's about it. So it will be a decent 65% leak there against the Butcher. X-God, though, he's easily holding the DT send here on 6. And he's even going to be able to cover at least the 2 Roccos, I think. Probably can't kill the Drake.
I think there is something to be said about skipping that income on 4, or on 5, I mean, to try and send together
Yeah.
on 6.
Yeah, this is a very, very long wave. Meanwhile, X-God has 12 workers. Ashton has 10. Do they send on 7? No. Okay, they do. Okay, that was a very last second send there from X-God.
And Green actually pre-built for 7 last wave. Built double gun on 6. So had the perfect read.
Yeah, as a result, though, Ashton is just sending Cannoneers here. He's not really expecting Green to leak with the double gun and the double Green Devil. He's more than fine. But X-God is going for a full send here against Burnt. But Burnt Das Builder, 890 value, wave 7, 2 Cursed Caskets, 1 Sky Queen and a couple of Harpies. I think he's going to perform just fine here, honestly.
Unfortunately, he also has 300 of pixie value, which is pretty miserable on this wave.
One of Green's
he will
guns...
kill a lot of stuff.
One of Green's guns did get sniped, so that's kind of bad for him. He should still be able to hold, although having said that, there's only really one gun alive. Burnt, 96% leak, Green Spirit. I mean, he's actually leaking. The Cannoneers are both getting through, and that's because one of his cannons got sniped by the Cannoneer there. X-God leaks 44%, but fine, Ashton is going to cover that, and there will be a decent chunk of king damage here on wave 7.
Yeah, I think you have to say this is a very good turn of events for X-God and Ashton.
Yeah, very good. And it's just the send, too much send on 5 and 6, and they just allow display when they just could do the same to them because they could leak them. But also, if Ashton decide to go for Ogre Brute, that will be so much king damage.
Yeah. Was a bit greedy to send to Ashton.
Yeah, but still very good result, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's perfectly happy with the way that turned out. And once again, we see X crash with the worker lead over their opponents, with Ashton being 2 workers ahead of Burnt. Of course, you have to account for the pixies as well, though, really, which is kind of pseudo workers.
Yeah, his total Mythium is roughly the same. Wonder what the plan is.
Julian protected his pixies here well,
so none of them died. Yeah, very good.
no bonus Mythium.
Yeah, very, very solid there. Now we have more income send coming out from Ashton, and once again it is a full send from X-God, but Burnt Das Builder dropping the Great Boar here. Perfect tank on wave 9. Let's see how well he's able to perform here.
Mimic is
he changes his mind.
Yeah, it's almost never right on on 9 to send Mimic, just because everyone will build Fortified or Natural, but...
I don't know if he wants to just get
yeah,
this
snacks them.
Burnt, though, Burnt is not only building for 10, he's also shifting 200 gold.
What?
Burnt, I think you're going to be regretting that decision in around about 10 seconds' time.
I mean, he will leak.
Yeah, he's going to leak massively. Green
Okay.
Spirit, he's doing very well. The
leaking
Vulcan
too, I
Cannon's
think.
still alive.
Or
80% leak there for Burnt Dasbrot. Green Spirit does hold this time, though. His Vulcan Cannon more than enough to fend off those last few Carapaces and the Cannoneer. But let's see, how much gold on this Mimic? 21 gold on the Mimic there from X-God, snacking on Burnt, who shifted 200 gold but lived to regret it, it seems.
Witch on 10. That's a spicy one.
Okay, let's have a look. So
If you didn't like Ogre.
X-God is just spamming Disciples here. Very, very good single target damage against the boss on 10, of course. But those snails can be pretty handy for distracting their spells. And the Witch, of course, is just a ton of added damage here on wave 10.
They're just on value.
They are on value, yeah. I mean,
Might just be easy ults. I think they just donated a little too much gold on 9.
yeah, Ashton with the double alpha male, like these units are perfect on 10. The Sky Queen, of course, is a ton of DPS as well. The Sens are massive, though. 360 Mythium for both players here.
Yeah.
The Witch is doing work. The Snails have tanked a bunch of Disciple shots in X-God's lane. It's down to the last Harbinger. The Harbinger does get another summon off. That might make the difference here. Ashton, I mean, his melee units are still going down, but that is a hold from Ashton. And X-God, that is a hold from you as well. So both X-Crash members holding the full 360 cents on 10. This just puts them in a fantastic position as we move into the mid-game.
I think the Wish is just too slow on 10. Like even if Ogre isn't the best attack type, it just does so much damage, and it can even tank a little bit as well. Compared to the Witch, which just kind of AFKs in the back.
Yeah. Also, maybe they could go 11, but I guess they was scared from the 2 defensive spells. But they could definitely send a lot with speed tier on 11.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be a little bit better, but hard to go versus Divine Blessing.
Yeah, and the tree is just so broken on 11. Like he could magician like 2 trees or something like that.
Yeah.
It might just be easy hold as well.
Yeah.
I think they just needed to hold that 9, and then their game would have more options.
Yeah, and they could have held that 9 as well, right? I think it was a bit of a misread of the situation there with Burnt, 1 building the Sky Queen instead of the Great Ball, and then 2 just shifting a ton of gold there, because he should have been able to, if not hold, at least do way, way better.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was trying to get out on 10. Maybe
Like with the boar, he would probably hold on 9, right?
yeah,
Should
it's
be 200 something gold.
I mean, he's
or even
he's
if
for
he
sure
just built,
doing
like,
better than an
buckler
80%.
upgrade or something.
Yeah. Alright, so this seems to be a story that we've seen before, guys, with Ashton pulling ahead of all of the other players. He's on fire here, it's a 50 gold shutdown, he's got the most workers, he's got the most income, he's in a very comfortable position. The one thing this game, though, is that X-God is struggling somewhat. He's at the bottom of the power score table, Burnt and Green both ahead, but having said that, Green Spirit's cartel penalty has just kicked in, so he's going to start dropping off now that we move into the mid-game.
Yeah, it just makes sense because they are playing with the Fiesta mates and they was forced to stay low workers in the early game while their mates was pushing heavy. So this is usually the case when you play with Fiesta.
What is full
Okay.
income from Green, full
Okay.
tryhard from Julian? I mean, guess you can try to leak this build on 13 just because it's the trees are actually not that good there, but he is on value.
What do you think about the birds?
Well, they are going to die.
Yeah, but what are they doing? Like,
Yeah, the brutes are not doing very much at all. If anything, they're just going to get popped when the Tree of Knowledge is die and get off that massive magical AoE spell. Like, those brutes are just going to disintegrate, I think. Let's watch this happen.
I think just if Green was gonna income King, I think it would have been fine to income King as well.
Yeah. Okay, 2 trees are dead and the brutes are already gone. Oh, that third tree even got off the spell.
wasted Mythium there.
Yeah, that could have been like anything else, I think. Probably just magical range damage is better. I mean, sure,
Oh,
Ashton's
God.
leaking, and this is a shutdown for 50 gold, but X-God holds against the Income King, and they just have no pressure now. X-God and Ashton, they have a ton of Mythium.
Yeah, they're looking a bit dead on 15, unless Julian. I mean, Julian has an insane build. Don't get me wrong. Disciple Boar with Arcane Tank as well, and he is on value, so maybe he can hold.
He's on value here on 14. That's going to be a different story on 15, though, especially because, once again, X-God is pushing those workers. So he's down at 2.4k value, he's on 29 workers. Ashton's pushing really hard as well. He's up at 33. We'll have to see. Burnt Dasprote and Green Spirit, are they able to survive the onslaught that's coming for them on wave 15?
I think
Yeah.
they're in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, 15 just does so much damage as well. Like, even if you clear decently, like, you really just need, like, Needler, boss, or something, and you just die.
Julian has very good setup. Maybe he can do well, but
Yeah.
Green should be in a lot of trouble to face
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
1 point something K cent.
They both go for the income here from Burnt and Green, just desperately trying to survive. Ashton and X-God, the sends coming out from these guys are massive. Ashton even pushed 2 workers to no send, by the way. Just really smells blood here on the other side of the field. And he just wants to go for it and close out the game on 15. We do see the king upgrades coming from Green and Burnt, but this really is some copium now, I think, because these sends are absolutely enormous.
Yeah, X-God Send is very weird, but he does have a habit of clicking imps accidentally, so maybe we can forgive him.
Yeah, he just wanted to send one from each.
Alright. Guys, look at these sends here. There's a 980 Mythium in Burnt Dasprote's lane. There's 1,200 in Green Spirit's lane. Those Needlers are even getting spells to add insult to injury. I mean, even having said that, he's doing well, but he's still going to be a massive leak. Burnt, though, can he kill the boss? No! He leaks the boss on 100 HP. It's healing now with the Hermit as well, and I think this is just GG here on wave 15.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Very, very
Yeah, I
well
mean,
played
it's,
from X-Gresh.
Same story, they just need to save a bit longer. Sorry, bro.
Very gentlemanly there from Ashton Butcher, apologising for his role, but surely the power index cannot fault him for playing Steed with Magician with the Tree of Knowledge. Like, it's an absolute dream role there for Ashton, but he played it fantastically. And I have to say, X-God and Ashton, they do seem, to me at least, to be playing cleaner than Burnt and Green. Like, sure, Burnt and Green won in game 1, but we all know that they kind of snatched that from the jaws of defeat, right? Whereas Ashton and X-God's wins have been a lot more clinical, a lot cleaner. They've controlled the pace of the game, and here we see they actually still have 100% King HP remaining on wave 15.
Yep.
Yeah. I think the game was going like in a good way for Julian and Green. They have the upper hand on the Fiesta, sending it to Fiesta. They had some lead on early game, but then just this leak on 6, and X-God and Ashton was saving, and then just punched them on 7, taking big damage. And then the greed from Julian, he wanted to go for some leak and get Fiesta, but he was heavily punished by that.
On wave
And it
9,
was
yeah.
just
Yeah.
On wave 9, and that gives them so much gold, and then they were saving. On 10 didn't work out, and after 10 it's just GG.
Yeah, after wave 10 it's pretty much done for. And sure, they managed to get a little bit of shutdown from Ashton on wave 13, but it's just nowhere near enough. And it just means that they can push way more workers to get this absolute killer send out on 15. Really, really well played there from Team X-Crash.
Yep. Does look like Green and Julian are going to switch up the sending order maybe this time round. So maybe that will be what they need.
Oh, interesting. So we have Green Spirit sending into Ashton now and Burnt sending into X-God.
Or? Well, now Green Spirit is playing as spectator, so...
Okay, I mean, maybe he's had enough. Can't blame him, to be honest.
I'll take the spot for this game.
Okay, Adams, it's time to step in.
We do need to see one Chaos game, right?
At least one chaos, please.
But guys, this is match point now. XGod and Ashton, they only need one more win, and they will be the July Nova Cup champions. So that's pretty hype. I would really, really love to see Burnt and Green take this game number 4, though, because everybody here wants to see game number 5, right? I want to see game number 5. Offmer and Adams, I know you guys do. Burnt and Green, they probably want it more than anyone, but all the people at home as well. And by the way, we actually have 1,230 viewers right now, which is,
Wow.
I think, the most we've ever had on the Nova Cup cast. So amazing. Welcome everyone to the stream. I hope you're enjoying the show. I hope you're enjoying seeing this very, very high quality Legion gameplay from these two teams. You are watching the best of the best right now.
They all came for Adamus' first cast.
Yeah, Adam's clearly the big draw here. We should have had you on earlier, dude.
True. No. I could be in the chair of Julian on Green as usual.
I wonder what Ashton will pick this game. I don't know if is he willing to play YOLO again?
Oh, of course, because he lost with YOLO, didn't he? So he still has that available. But I mean, Ashton
I
is a
haven't seen him pick
YOLO
anything
main.
else.
He plays YOLO pretty much exclusively on the ladder, so he's very, very experienced with that mastermind. And now that he's on the match point, I think he might just go back to it, even though YOLO is very risky to pick up in tournament play.
I think he's gonna be happy to play YOLO
Yeah.
if it is finally available to him.
Yeah. I have to say as well, guys, I'm really pleased for Legion that the weekend has gone so well. They've attracted so many new players. It's really great, and I hope the game continues to grow. But guys, we are about to hop into game number 4. There is everything to play for here. XGod and Ashton, they have match point advantage. Green Spirit and Burnt, they need to win this one just for a chance to see game number 5. But let's see as we move into game number 4.
This can be also a long game. It's the all defensive spells, very defensive spells.
Yeah. We get the Chaos.
And I see the chaos, so okay, everything is fine then.
Nice luck, nice luck. Now, Adams, it's almost impossible for me to cast Chaos games without being salty. But I'm going to leave this one to you, I think. Every time XGod needs to make a decision on a certain wave, you're the Chaos Master. You tell me what's going through his head, because the only thing I can say is, oh, he's just going to flip a coin.
Just roll the dice.
Just roll the dice. And Ashton's on Castle, actually. That one really surprises me, because this, of course, is the slowest early game mastermind option, and Ashton is not a slow early game player. So I'm kind of interested to see how he plays this one out. It's really not where I would think that Ashton would go in the all-important game 4 here.
Yeah, I'm also surprised he picked it. I don't think it's a good spell for him. It's not very fitting, because when he excels, it's in pushing, and this kinda is not very good for pushing. And he needs to stay over warriors just to get the units.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was wondering if Ashton's gonna greed his positioning or not. It's leaking pretty bad, the snail, but he's not getting it.
He's not getting a snail, but look at this XGod. I mean, if that's not giving away the fact that he's playing Chaos, I don't know what is, because he's added a Gargoyle and a second Bone Warrior on wave 1. So I think Green Spirit and Burnt already know what XGod is cooking over here.
Positioning is not even correct for wave 3. Like I think this Fire Archer is gonna overtank if you get a 60 cent. But maybe he has different plans and he's just trying to trick them.
Yeah, he should be fine with the Gargoyle already, right? So,
Yeah, he's very fine here,
yeah.
There's no way he can leak, especially not with only a 20 cent from Burnt. So Burnt, of course, is just going to hold on to his Mythium here. Green Spirit doing the same. In fact, all 4 players are just chilling with their Mythium here. 5 workers for 3 of the players, only 4 for Burnt Das Builder, of course, falling behind, as to be expected.
Julian has some weird nightmare role, like he has the Yozora and Serpent in the same role.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be looking for reroll in his case very soon.
Yep.
Yeah, if he can pick up a fort tank,
In
that
fact,
would be very nice. And some maybe
yeah,
magic damage.
he has
He also needs magic damage as well, yeah.
he has 3 Swift units there with the Serpent, the Nightmare, and the Azora. And what makes it worse is that his other unit is the Shroom, which is arcane. So he's very, very weak to pierce damage right now.
Okay.
I mean, we said that Ashton was on a slow mastermind, but he's still on 6 workers. He's still ahead of both Green and Burnt here already on wave 3.
He doesn't have money to
He's-
get a front top.
He's 210
Also feel-
value here.
I also feel like Ashton is getting some free games. Like I didn't saw him getting any real big saves or big non-income sense, and he's just always getting away with his push.
Yeah. He really does get away with murder. And I think if Green Spirit had sent a 60 here, he would have leaked pretty decently, right? Because maybe the thing wouldn't have got off its second spell, but like this, it's just an easy hold. Oh, but X-God, though!
Yeah.
His Fire Archer died way too early, and as a result, what could have been a fairly easy hold, it's a 72% leak here.
Has to go back to positioning school. And
Yeah.
If the fire archer's half down
Yeah.
from where it is, it's an easy hold, I think.
Mhm.
Or, I
Yeah.
mean, when it leaks a lot smaller.
Yeah, you was mentioning it, Ofma,
But,
at wave 1 when he got exactly punished by it, and like it's also funny because like he built those units on wave 3, on wave 1, so like opponents can like predict what is gonna be next moves, and he got punished with DT on the right and Snail to the left, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So just a little
Dylan
bit.
barely got it, too. Oh, is this gonna leak full to this fiend?
Like the power of chaos is also to be like not predictable, so opponents don't know what to send, right? So they can fail the send. It's also the power of chaos. But
Yep.
he decides to not go with it.
What's
Oh,
going
let's
on here?
have a look here. This does look dangerous now for Ashton. Has he pushed too far? It looks like the answer is yes. He's only receiving a Fiend here from Burnt, but it's still a 58% leak. Luckily, X-God is holding, and actually Green Spirit is holding his 80 send as well,
Wow.
just barely. Look at that, the 2% HP remaining on the Archer. What a clutch hold there from Green.
Full sending Archer on 4 is pretty ballsy, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just expecting that he would full shift gold, but no, Green Spirit anticipated that. He built the Devilfish, and he was just more than fine.
Yep.
There's a fairly chunky send coming out here from 3 of the players, with Ashton sending 100. Maybe he has another Snail as well against Burnt. But Burnt, he does get that canopy upgraded here on 5, and he's going to be completely fine, I think.
I think he should still lick to this kind of send.
Let's
Yeah,
have
he
a look.
needs like very good aggro.
He needs the Nightmare to tank a few, which it does.
Yep.
So, yeah.
The boss is down very, very quickly. Yeah, I think the canopy is maybe getting overwhelmed, but he's doing very well here. And what's more, he's ignoring that dino.
Yeah.
And now he's on it. Now he's
Oh,
on
you
it.
jinxed him.
Yeah, I did. Oh, but he does kill it. Wow. Wait, no, guys, he's just holding. What a beast.
Yeah.
His aggro was perfect.
No, I mean, I think it was a very nice hold, but also lucky because I know that Juvis is doing those kinds of builds, but he's leaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also the type of build where if you get brooded on 5, you're leaking the whole way, basically.
Yeah,
'Cause
for
then
sure,
all
because
your
the canopy
thresholds
just
are
gets overwhelmed, right?
Yeah. But let's see if our boy Ashton can hold this Cannoneer on 6. He's once again undervalued with the castle.
That's
And we
such
s-
an important hold, and we see the worker lead on Green and Julian, like first
Ooh.
time in this series.
This is,
and
yeah,
workers.
Yeah, Green popping off.
I don't think it's just the first time in the series. I think it's the first time in the entire weekend that we've seen Green and Burnt have a worker advantage over their opponents.
Maybe, yeah. I don't want to go into much.
Ashton, though, he is holding this 140 Mythium Send from Green Spirit, and I mean, that worker situation is just going to flip on its head now because Ashton's going to push very hard.
Yeah, he need to be careful on wave 8, right? If
Yeah.
he's not careful.
He's looking pretty bad on 9 as well, honestly. Like, he has got that Mudman in his role, but Green and Burnt don't know about that, so they could be planning a big wave 9 Send.
X-God stuck in decision hell, trying to figure out if he should build Wild Shrooms or get his damage, and he's going for the Disciple, and the Mole is not going to be
Yeah.
that good.
Currently, his Chaos Roll is not looking that sexy. You usually want to have one unit to play around. So like he started to Crusher, and that's not the unit you want to play around.
Something like a
now he's-
Nightmare or a Priestess, something like that, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like Priestess, Nightmare, Berserker, or something to have like clear weak and strong waves, and you can play around it.
Yep. Oh, he is sniping the Mole, though. Does just
Beast.
kill it in time. Very nice. So he's going to leak, but it's only a small pro leak, really.
Could be worse.
Yeah, 46% there for X-God. Could have been way worse, especially if he leaked that Mole on low HP. That would have been a 70% leak instead.
Let's see if Ashton can hold what I would assume would be a send from green. I don't know if he's gonna go full after income or not, but could be dangerous if he does.
Yeah, pretty.
Oh,
I mean,
that
it's
would be actually.
it's income only coming out from X-God and Ashton, but it is a large income send as well.
Yeah.
Though Burnt Das Builder, he does get the Banana Bunk out here for wave 8, so he's going to be completely fine. And Green Spirit, I mean, he's dropping a couple of Tempests. And he, of course, has the Elite Archer already on the field, so he's going to be completely fine as well.
Julian is in such a spot that he can full push right now, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
He doesn't need to
Spot
build
off.
on 9.
So I hopefully he goes and choose this line.
He has found the worker button, it seems. He's pushed up to the dizzy heights of 11. That's a personal record for Julian, I think.
Might be a record break. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, 13,
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, like they are usually around 7 workers on 15, so
Yeah. And Ashton, though, he's actually leaking to this 160 income only send from Green Spirit. So, I mean, sure, he's on Castle, but this is looking pretty good so far for Team Power Index.
Yeah, I mean the snail soup wasn't enough to get his ability to pop off even.
Yeah.
So now he's not looking that good on 10. He has the Halo there, but I mean enough big enough sends and the Halo's not gonna save you.
okay. Julian is gonna probably shift a little bit, maybe to get Haven on 10. But
Yeah.
I'm fine with it because he's saving Mythium. So it's fine that he didn't full push.
Yeah. And Burnt, I mean, he has 200 stored up in the bank already, so he really is placing pressure on X-God. And X-God's lane, I mean, this is looking like when your Chaos goes wrong, right? Like, his units are all over the place. He hasn't really got any upgrades apart from the one Sky Queen.
He's probably trying to like do too many things at once.
Yeah.
And then it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
But I wasn't following his role, so maybe he was just unlucky.
He's probably just making the best of a bad situation, I would imagine. Alright, and a very slow wave there from Burnt. He's just sending income, actually, into X-God, so despite the fact that he had well over 200 Mythium, he's just going full income, which I think is kind of an interesting choice, honestly, because X-God's looking fairly weak here, but Burnt just wants to catapult himself. He wants to try and out-carry Ashton this time around.
Mm-hmm. Exod is in super high value, right?
He is.
1.5k almost, and quite decent units, I would say. Not the worst.
Yeah, so I don't hate the play. And actually, Green Spirit, he's on top of the power score. 25 gold shutdown here on 10. He won't be leaked, I don't think, especially not by Lizard King ups from X-God. So that's going to be a shutdown protected. With 300 Mythium, all income, though, by the way, sent into X-God's lane. How is he doing? Because if he leaks this, it's pretty bad for him, I think.
I think he's holding.
He is holding. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's good. And
But,
Ashton
is not.
Ashton is leaking, but it's not terrible, honestly. Like, he gets a pack leader and a brute, and he's only leaking a low HP boss there. This could have been much worse, and especially with X-God holding his lane, they're going to take barely any king damage.
Yeah. And now it's castle time.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Ashton is at the same income, and now he will.
And now he's
jump
50
back.
ahead of everybody else, yeah?
Still, I think it's gonna be a little bit lead for Julian and Green Spirit.
Mhm.
They had the worker advantage over X-God. But the income is the same, so I guess it's very even game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess the one saving grace, do we have net worth? We don't. Okay. So I think the fact that they're kind of ahead in value while also having a couple more workers, sure, Ashton is going to catch up over the next few waves because he has that income lead, but right now Green and Burnt still have the advantage. So they need to try and identify a wave. Maybe it's going to be 13, where they can just go for a big leak against
Ooh.
X-Crash.
Ashton going investment with his castle, so he's just 1 million
Oh
income
wow,
ahead. That's
he's very, very high income indeed. He's also extremely low value here on wave 11, correctly reading that there's no resend coming from Green.
yeah, he shifted like a bunch of gold here.
And probably Ashton has the best role from all the players, and he has the most income, so he can, if he is not gonna be stopped very soon, he can just control the game and be ahead. Like
Yeah.
he can kind of cover every wave from these units.
He gets the Hades out here. He's even shifting a bunch of gold. He knows the send is not coming on 12. And as well, remember we were saying that XGod was having a bit of a rough early game with his Chaos? Well, the thing about Chaos is it's almost always going to end up being the strongest late game board because there's so many good synergies in the game. So the more waves you have, the more chances you have to roll those broken combos. So XGod is going to recover when this game carries on, I think. And he's going to end up being a bit of a powerhouse as well.
Yep.
I wonder what he's gonna do with this build though. I didn't saw too much Starcaller with healing, so I'm not sure how strong that can be.
It's not bad if you give like DR units like the Alpha Male and the Garg. It's
Like-
not bad healing.
Like they're clearly weak on 14, so
Yeah.
and he's building more units
Yeah.
for safe, while we see these units.
Ashton's also
Yeah.
building for wave 13. He added the Lioness here. Although, having said that, is he just going to shift 300 gold here?
Surely he's gonna build some caskets.
Okay, no, he
Yeah.
built another
Okay.
Lioness, right?
Another
But
Lioness.
But again, he's just making himself weaker and weaker on 14, right? Like, he's very high value, but all of these natural armoured units are really bad there. His one big carry, the Hades, is just terrible on 14 as well.
Yeah, they clearly missed the situation here.
Mhm.
And very nice play by Green and Julian. Like their rolls are insane for wave 14, and they are gonna force this wave.
They're going to force the
Yeah.
issue. I have to say, though, XGod did skillfully roll the Millennium for wave 14, so his build, which is looking garbage there, at least has some glimmer of hope. But he can never afford a Doomsday, though, so Millennium, sure, it's good, but Doomsday's on a whole other power level.
Yeah, he whiffed on an arcane tank, unfortunately.
Even Doomsday, I don't think it will be like saving grace. Like he has 0 tanks. Like he has a bunch of nature
Yeah.
armor, and then have berserkers. So he's really lacking the tanks there.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
just building more deep damage because he didn't roll any good tanks.
Now, the thing is, Ashton's on very good value. He's almost on perfect value, in fact. But apart from the Trinity Archer, the Iron Maiden, and one Trinity Archer, all of his units are really bad here. So I do expect to see a decent-sized leak out of Ashton, and the same, really, from XGod, whose Chaos build just never really came together, at least not yet.
Yep. On the other hand, looks like Green
Oh,
is
that's a
holding.
big leak on XGod there, 120%, and Ashton, he's not doing much better. There were full sends on Burnt and Green, but both of them hold their waves. This is a lot of king damage now on the side of X-Crash, and guys, I don't want to call it too early because the game will carry on from this point, but I have a feeling we're going to see game number 5.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough because Ashton has this
Ashton
income,
has,
this
yeah.
value, and
And
this
good
roll.
rolls. Like this was his weakest wave, and now he should be only strong. The issue is that they are
Yeah.
very low,
Yeah.
and he's gonna face the biggest sense.
And the other
it's gonna
thing
be
is,
overbuild
like,
action.
Green and Burnt are both extremely strong on wave 16. And Ashton, although he's really good, maybe 17 is a weakness for him there. So I could see Green and Burnt maybe try to push a few workers on 16 and go for a big play on 17. Because XGod is probably going to leak any wave, really.
Looking at their values, they might even be thinking of just going 18
Hmm.
because they're both broken on 17 with the
Everybody is shifting Maglev.
Everybody's shifting Gorm, yeah.
Uh,
Like it's going out of fashion.
yeah.
Imagine they send you. Oh,
Alright, we do have double shutdown with Green Spirit on 50 gold bounty, Burnt Despero also 50 gold bounty, so Jules is giving them a pretty healthy edge there. And X-God, I mean, he's actually leaking to no send. Will this trigger a send from Green Spirit and Burnt Despero, or are they going to resist the bait here on wave 16? What do you think?
I think their units are just. I mean, Green
They're
looks way
so
too good
strong on
on
16, right?
yeah, just way too strong on 16.
It might trigger them to fully upgrade the spell just to be on the safe side.
But they're actually on value still.
Yeah, they shift 400, and this is the best wave for them, right? And they
Yeah.
have full king. So maybe if the king was not full, they would be more scared. But like this, they can just afford.
Yeah, they're chilling. They're not feeling the pressure here, and with 100% king HP as well, there's no reason for them to really.
And they
It does
are,
look like.
and they will also prepare like 17.
Yeah.
Right? So
Make forests.
X-God is just so far out of the game now. Like his chaos roll just never really paid off. He had such a rough early game, and now he's just on the struggle bus full time. It seems he's 690 undervalue, and the send on 17 is just going to be devastating for him.
Yeah, it does look like it has to be 17. Some big myth counts.
Yeah.
And X-God is about to be like 1k under. He skips.
Now, Ashton's very strong
Okay.
there, and do you know what? I don't agree with these ogres from Green Spirit. I mean, I know why he's sending them, because he's expecting Ashton to just spam a bunch of hardened golems, but we can see that Ashton's rolled that away, and all of his tank value is going to be these alpha males, which of course is natural HP. So I think, like, Four Eyes would, or even Witches would just be better for him here.
like he
Yeah.
already had 5 alpha males, and the ogres are not great versus alpha males, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe it was just imps, maybe, or 4 eyes.
Yeah, I'd
Imps,
like
Four Eyes, yeah.
kind of a. The thing is, like, you want to send some sort of melee so that the archers have some, like, they're wasting the damage. But imps, I like imps for that. But then there's also the Hades to think about, so it's like
Yeah.
kind of a tricky
Yeah,
build.
you don't want to feed the Hades, that's right.
Yeah.
But the send is massive, so it's 760 for X-God. He's 800 under recommended value. This is going to be a big leak for him. And it's a 880 Mythium send for Ashton Butcher. He's much closer to value, and with the alpha males, they're very good tanks. He's doing very well, but I don't think it's going to be enough. There's a 102% leak there for X-God. And Ashton, again, he's doing really, really well. He's trying his absolute hardest here, but still, it's a 77% leak. The GGs are coming out. It looks like Green and Burnt, they have tied the series here, 2 for 2. And we all get our wish today, because there's game number 5 just round the corner.
Yep. And
Nice.
that's,
Very nice play by Julian and Green. That's what I wanted to see from them. Like, they get good early game, control the game, force them to send on their big waves and send very good stuff. Like 14 was the game breaking.
Mhm.
I wonder if we're gonna see Castle again, because did not look like a fun time for Ashton. To be
I
honest.
don't think Ashton's going to go back to the castle after that one. And this is a very different graph than we've seen in any of the other games, because Green and Burnt, they were just ahead from start to finish, more or less. There's a couple of, like, glimmers of hope there for Ashton and X-God, but really this was the power index story from start to finish.
Yeah, like this is the first game where Ashton was not ahead. He was struggling, leaking, and exactly like this was the issue with the castle.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go back for that. Maybe he'll just go for YOLO in game number 5, we'll have to see.
And I wonder if they're gonna keep the send order, because I mean, it did seem to work out for whichever reason.
Well, now it's the choice of X-God and Ashton, right? So if they want to mix things up, they can. But yeah, I mean, just really, really nicely played from both teams. But I have to say, Green and Burnt, they played extremely well this time around. All right, guys. So game number 5 just around the corner.
Any lobbies in the chat?
It's just way too close to call, right? Like how can we decide which of these teams has an edge? Because I did feel like XGod and Ashton were playing much cleaner Legion for the first 3 or 4 games, but Burnt and Green Spirit, they were just dominant in that game number 4 there. So it's really tough to call either way. I mean, I don't even know. I don't want to call it. Whoever wins, I'm going to be really happy because we've seen some fantastic Legion here tonight.
Yeah.
And finally, we have best of 5, going 5 games. That's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not by
it seems that we're getting even more viewers as we move to the absolute climax of this month's tournament. We've got nearly 1,400 people in the Twitch chat. Hello, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show.
My God.
Legion,
Don't forget
popping
box
off,
drops.
don't forget to claim your Twitch drops. Absolutely. All right, we have a lobby available. Thank you, Burnt, for starting that one, my friend. Everyone is here for game number 5. All right. So, Offmer, Adams, I need to hear your predictions now. Do you guys have a favourite? Who's going to take the cup?
I'm shifting to Julian and Green Spirit right now because of the momentum, and momentum is a big thing.
Yep.
And they might be a little bit more scared,
Mhm.
Ashton and XGod. But I would still say it's 50-50 for me. Like, Ashton and XGod was clearly the better team in 3 games,
Mhm.
and Julian and Green just stepping up in the last one. So let's see if they can keep up.
All right, guys, we're having a request from Ashton that he needs 2 minutes before game number 5, so we are going to grant that request. Not least because I actually have an empty glass of water here, and I could definitely do with some liquid if I'm going to be shouting my heart out for the next half an hour, because this is going to be a very exciting game. So I'm going to play Shadow's hype video, and we will be right back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. Oh, the Azeria! Oh, the Priestess dies really quickly.
Ooh,
there was
the
no
Priestess.
second heal. This could be very bad here for Widdowson. This is going to be rough. Percent, like you say. Ashton, though, he's holding the 280 send there. Can't kill the Ogre, though, can he? Atom? Outbroken? He can! The Atom's insane, dude! Look at this, Buzz. We've got 13 workers on Ashton, 12 on Burnt, 14 on Aviator,
baby.
and 12 on Widdowson.
Is under fire. It will be.
Oh, it
a
dies
late
very quickly. That's a
start.
Mimic Snipe there, and now Drakea's Azeria will heal. That's just a full hold, right? There's no way the creeps can kill the Azeria. Oh, wow. Aviator. Is he dying? He's dying. It goes down. The Crusher is dead. And
It's
Adams,
not doing-
you have 9 workers. You have 3.2k value, and you're leaking 100%. Chuvas 97% there, Drakea 99, Adams 69%. It's nice,
Very
but
nice.
not with Chuvas and Adams. Drakea and Lucy, they are your June Nova Cup champions. Alright guys, thank you Shadow for that lovely hype video. Hope that kept you entertained for a couple of minutes. It looks like all of the players are ready, so this big, all-important game number 5 is about to begin here. It's so close, I really can't call it either way between these two teams. They've been playing to the absolute limits of their ability, and it's been fantastic to watch.
Yeah, the send order did get switched by XGod and Ashton. So going back to what worked.
Okay, so Xcod is sending into Burnt, Ashton sending into Green, so interesting that they prefer it that way around. They do have their preferred sending order for game number 5. And guys, I mean, here it is. This is the one. This is all the marbles now to play for, because it's really just a best of one now. All of the teams have got their victories 2 for 2, and now game number 5, everything comes down to this. Who will be your July champions? We're about to find out. Game number 5.
5?
5? Question mark?
5. Oh, Fiesta from Burnt! Absolutely love to see it. When it's game number 5, everything's a play for. You need balls of steel, I think, to pick Fiesta.
Not the best role for Fiesta,
I was gonna say his role looks like it kind of sucks.
but I'm wondering what he can build. Like, I know that like veteran leaks as a Fiesta, but I think that's not a good approach
Yeah.
to play Fiesta because you're just so bad on all other waves.
I think he just hit the reroll button as fast as he could. I've seen
Yeah.
Truvis play like Ninja Howler, I think. But not sure if that's actually very good as well.
I think
Ashton is
I've
playing
seen that as
Cartel.
well.
Ooh,
Did-
okay.
I didn't saw him play ever the Cartel, but I think
I think this
Could be a
suits
good
his
mastermind.
playstyle a lot better than Castle does, because he should be able
like
to push pretty heavily here.
Yeah, like
Ah.
in general, I would like to play him more. Like I think that's a very good option for him.
Is he gonna have enough gold to build on to? How much gold does he get? $72 plus 15.
A double gate guard start here from Ashton and Green with 5 workers, very, very nice. And Burnt is playing Nightmare Fiesta. Not ideal, but he's played it before, and he actually kind of knows what he's doing with this. So we'll have to see, because just expect him to push hard. He's going to leak a little bit on 3, a little bit on 5, and things should be pretty spicy from there.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the worst.
And
Better than trying to cook with something you're not familiar with.
yeah, I mean, the thing with Fiesta, right? A lot of times you see people making the mistake of just doing a terrible build because it's going to leak on wave 1 and 2. But you don't want to force a leak just for the sake of leaking. It's much better to play a good build, push a bit harder than you might normally, and just take the leaks naturally when they come, right? Rather than trying to force them.
Interesting gold for Ashton.
Yeah. Yeah, having to place 3 masks actually is really not where he wants to be. So sure, he's playing Cartel, but his build is still looking a little bit shaky here in game number 5.
Yeah, I think not the best units to pair with the gate guard opener, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the reroll button could be the thing as well very soon. Like he needs some unit because you don't want to spam mask or gate guards, and APS it's too soon. So
I think he decided that instead of building, he will just build some workers.
that's good choice. You can push a little bit right on for 4 and then shift maybe for upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Harbinger on 5, and then he can pop off hard if it works out.
it can work for sure. Now let's see, does Burnt get a Fiesta here? He only received a Lizard. There was no Snail added there from Xcod. I'm not sure if he had the
That's good.
Mythium in time or not. And actually, this is a really solid leak. He even gets one more. 30% there. Nightmare Fiesta popping off, guys.
Nice,
Pretty
nice.
clean. And he's definitely gonna leak 5, because I don't really see a good unit for him.
Yeah, he couldn't hold 5 if he tried, so he's going to get another Fiesta.
Looks like he's going for some enable action. 7 workers saving Mythium onto Ashton.
All right, there's another DT sent here from Ashton into Green, but Green is going to be more than fine against this. He's even shifting 60 gold here, so Green is going for that Harbing away 5, covering Burnt, where he knows that his Fiesta teammate is weak. Interesting to see whether he pushes or not after receiving this Dragon Turtle.
Yeah.
Never.
Never.
He could maybe. He can
Yeah.
add it work, right? But just adding 85 value might be not enough to cover.
Yeah, he's staying
So-
6 workers. So right from the get-go, he realised he could have pushed immediately. He didn't. He wants to get that Harbinger. He knows his Fiesta mate is weak. And I think it's a
That's
pretty solid play,
Coiler
actually.
HP buff diff.
Whoa!
That 9 HP.
Absolutely insane. The Swift tank Coiler just perfectly holding there on wave 4. Harbinger is built by Green. He has a ton of Mythium as well. He's saving that up. He's going to easily cover Burnt here. So Burnt, he's even boosting the Infiltrator there to make sure he kills the Scorpion King nice and quick.
The Scorpion King is going on a journey here.
Ashton also has a Harbinger, by the way. There's 2 Harbingers on the field, wave 5.
Yeah.
So Ashton's easily holding, I'm sure. But let's see
Cartel
how
diff.
well Burnt does here. It's only a Dino Cent. So once again, XGod did not add any Mythium post-income. Now the Scorpion King
False
dies
Maiden.
very quickly. He is killing the Dino as well. Wait.
It's for holding, no?
I mean,
Oh,
the Nightmare.
it's-
I guess he's just full holding, yeah. Like, if XGod had added 1 snail, he's presumably going to leak. But like this, it's a hold, so Burnt missing out on the Fiesta value. It seems XGod has got his number.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I think he'll be okay with that.
I think Julian is totally fine with that, yeah. He was
Yeah,
high
yeah.
push and he's not leaking, so... The god you don't lose, you don't need to gain, right? So,
Talking
It's
about...
probably-
So,
yeah, it's probably even better to not leak. Like if he was leaking 1, then of course it's better. But
Yeah.
uh,
But holding
XGod
while
does a
having a
pretty
worker
clean
lead
hold.
is pretty good as well, right?
yeah.
He
Alright.
gets
but
to now get the Tantrum on 7, prep 8, and his like game plan is so smooth now.
Yeah,
I'm
Ashton
surprised
playing
he
this
is
one very well.
getting. I'm surprised that the Julian is getting full resend here because
He will
had,
leak now, though, right?
He will. He was probably if God was counting, he will not add anything, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
But he was
but-
still very strong with so much spam, and
Yeah.
wave 6 is very weak in versus spam, so like this is not really good for
And-
XGod and Ashton.
And talking about his
Yeah,
Fiesta
so-
value as well, this is a very clean leak. He nearly got the 6th Rocco as well. That would have just been perfect. But he's pretty happy with this. Now he has the worker lead, 11 workers for Burnt, 10 for both Ashton and XGod though, so not too shabby there. There will be a Tantrum Hellraiser on 8 from Ashton covering his weak wave 8. XGod, meanwhile... I mean, he has got the Fire Elemental, and he's also threatening the Tree of Knowledge as well, which, as we know, is very powerful on wave 8.
And Ashton also saving onto Green Spirit, who has the same weak wave as him.
Yep. Green has answers as well, though. Like, he has got the... he'll have a Deep Coiler on Wave 8. He's got a Pegasus, which is just a really good tank on 8 as well. He even has a couple of mass just to kite things away from his main unit. So I think Green can do pretty well there. And Burnt with his Fiesta, well, he just doesn't care if he leaks a few creeps on Wave 8.
Yeah. Wonder if he would try hard if he gets to 200.
Oh, he's very close. He will get 200. Is it going to be an Ogre? No.
Mole
Oh, it's
Hermit,
Mole
I think.
Hermit. Okay, I think the Mole Hermit's very good as well because it really does counter this Tantrumed Hellraiser.
Yeah, it'll be on how fast this Halo can kill that mole.
Yeah. I'm not sure if the Ogre was not better. I would probably click just Ogre, but
Yeah, it's simpler in my head to do that.
yeah, like it's so good versus this stuff as well, right?
Yeah.
and
But
the mask
more
might kill the wave, but
He's pretty high value though. 950 value here for Ashton. Big sends all around actually. 240 for Ashton, 180 for XGod, 200 for Green Spirit, and 160 for Burnt Das Brot. Let's have a quick look
Oh.
at this. Oh, the mask goes down! Oh no! And the mole is still alive even. This is really bad focus here for Ashton Butcher. He's leaking way more than expected. 84% there. Meanwhile, 67 for Burnt, but again, he's Fiesta.
Waldo.
He's fine with this. And Waldo is leaking to the Dino Fiend here, plus King Ups. Oh, wait. Is he leaking? It's just the longest wave in
Yeah.
history.
He is leaking.
these gloves cannot get the job done, I think.
Yeah.
No damage. It was so close, the fire elemental almost survived, and it was just easy cleanup, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
leaking, unfortunately.
Meanwhile,
tough.
Green Spirit easily covering all of Burnt's leaks on that side, and X Crash taking first blood here on wave number 8.
Yeah. And I mean, Ashton has the Halo for 10, but other than that, he's not looking the best there. Oh, he has a Zerker I just saw in his roll.
Okay, okay. X-God, honestly, not looking amazing on 10 himself, but yeah, with that Berserker, Ashton should be fine, I think, and the Halo, of course. Burnt's very good on 10. Like, 10 is Burnt's strongest wave.
Yeah, he's gonna shift here, I think, to just try and get out the gangster.
He is. He might also like to have a bit of a pro leak here on 9, especially against Nocent.
Yeah, he is. Letting the dogs out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't work out in last game, or like 2 games before, when he
Oh, yeah.
shipped and leaked so hard. It's
Yeah.
Vista. More careful now.
But like we were saying as well, you just can't play scared against players like Ashton and X-God, so I do like the fact that he's taking risks here, and it's paying off.
Definitely.
Wouldn't even mind him just literally sending like full income, like just full spam versus the Halo.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There's an Ogre from Green, there's an Ogre from Burnt as well. Ashton can't
do the
quite
easy
afford
things.
the Arc of Justice without selling one of the masks, but that's a very easy decision to make, I think.
Yeah, his cold is pretty awkward otherwise if he doesn't do that, right? Like
Yeah.
Zerker plus nothing.
X-God's really weak here, though, guys. I'm kind of worried
Yeah.
for X-God getting this big send here from Green Spirit. I think we're going to get a big leak here.
Yeah, I mean,
Ashton is also gonna leak, no
Yeah.
matter. He has this Arc of Justice, but he has 0 tanks.
yeah,
Oh,
like
this
the
is going to
mask
be...
is his best tank on this wave.
This is important now, guys. Let's just zoom out so we can get a view of both lanes simultaneously. The Ogre is killed instantly in Ashton's lane, but that does mean that Halo was not damaging the boss, so it won't be able to ramp up enough to kill that thing. That boss is leaking on about 40% HP. Meanwhile, X-God, he sniped the Ogre as well. 47% leak for Ashton. X-God's lasting longer. He is dealing a bit more damage as well, but still, it's going to be a leak, and these guys are going to lose even more king damage here. But Burnt as well. Whoa! The 1% HP boss, the perfect Fiesta there for Burnt Das Brot. This is going very, very well for Team Power Index.
And I think it's time to do the easy thing and just go 13 now, right?
I think they should just save some Mythium and go 13, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe even longer.
they
but
could
13
even go
looks
longer,
pretty
yeah.
basic.
Because they have 100% King HP, right? So they're not in danger
Yeah.
really of being one-shotted thanks to Tenacity. So if they wanted, they could just go straight 15, honestly.
Another cartel debuff is hitting. X-God is a bit ahead in terms of income, but
Yeah, but Green Spirit has 3 more workers.
Yeah, the worker situation will catch it up by the next send.
I wonder when X-God and Ashton can go and just turn the game around. It's probably
Tricky.
all 13.
Yeah,
But-
13, 15 looks like what everybody wants.
They might lose the trade on 13 there again. I'm a little bit worried.
Yeah,
Yeah. Green Spirit's looking pretty strong on 13, though. Like, he has the
yeah.
Sovereign there, he's got Hero, which he hasn't shown yet, so he's still hiding that. Maybe threatening the Pro League spell, I forget the name right now.
Counterattack?
Counterattack, yeah, he's threatening counterattack against X-God, so maybe thinking that they could go for a bit of a 12-13 send or something like this, but no, he's just going to reveal that hero on wave 13 with the Sovereign, and he's going to be very difficult to leak there.
Going for Deep Coiler.
Mhm.
When he has a hero, which is
Yeah, he's
I don't
splitting his value a little bit there, right?
yeah. Like it's
But I guess he's somewhat worried about 12. But
Yeah.
I mean, Julian has double doppel hero. It should be okay.
Julian is so strong here on wave 12. I think these guys are just playing it safe now because they understand that they're very comfortably in the lead right now, so they just don't need to take unnecessary risks, like leaking massively on 12.
Fair enough.
I mean, Julian is just overbuilt. because like he's -80, but he has hero, and that's making you plus value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's very
That's
strong on
what's-
12 as well, right?
That's his best wave, yeah. So
Okay.
should definitely prepare for 14. Oh, for
Gonna be
13.
those 13 sends Ashen preps a Tantrum Mask, so I think
Mm-hmm.
he has only one Tantrum because the other one is on.
Oh, this is spicy, guys, because Ashton and XGod, they do save their Mythium here. So we were talking about an opportunity for them to come back in the game. Well, here it is, but it comes with a big caveat, because if they want the chance to come back into the game, they need to be able to hold these sends, and these sends coming out are massive here from Green Spirit and Burnt Aspero on wave 13. XGod and Ashton, if they hold here, they might have a good opening back into the game, but there's a pretty good chance they just straight up die as well.
Yeah.
Value is good, and he has hero, but it is a DK.
Xgod
With
is
no.
no damage for Xgod.
Yeah. He has great tank, so somehow the DK stays alive forever, but
Yeah, the
two
DK
witches
is
will mean.
DK is cooking.
Yeah, he is alive.
Where is he?
Meanwhile, Ashton's just full holding. Okay,
Okay.
this
Wow.
game just got spicy, guys.
Yeah, and XCode is holding real good himself.
Yeah,
So they're gonna aim wave 15, I can imagine right now.
Yeah.
It looks very promising for them.
whoa,
And they even prolic by Xgod.
69% there from XGod. Very nice indeed. And the full cover from Ashton is just extremely juicy for these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, the mask is even tanking for the Justice. This is insane.
so nice. Can we also call this a little bit missteps by Green and Julian to not force wave 14?
Yeah, I thought
Maybe,
they would
right,
do the
yeah.
same, honestly,
It's
as last game.
Yeah, they could have done that, especially because Green Spirit did get his Sovereign with Hero there. They must have felt fairly comfortable, right? And even if they're scared on 13 themselves, they can still just do a few King Ups maybe or something like that while saving the rest of their Mythium.
Yeah, I think the goal should be not get saved till 15,
Yeah.
but they didn't do it, so they might get punished for it, but let's see.
They might. Green Spirit is still very strong on 15, even though he's going to be really undervalued. The Pegasus is so good there with Hero. The Sovereign can tank a lot of damage as well, and it is going to get full mana very quickly with all of those Pegasuses.
I worry about GKs, though. He's having some trouble with that. I
Yeah.
think.
And speaking of which, there's the first GK sent from Ashton already.
Yeah, I think this is the best send, especially goes after income for the second one. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Neither will kill off all the Pegasuses, and then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I'm
Green,
always surprised that
It's a race. Wow.
it is a race. Yeah, I thought Green and Burnt might just go for the income king play here. You know, play it safe, take it a little bit longer into the game. But no, they are going for a kill. So they're going for witches. They're trying to just take their opponents out here on wave 15. And yeah, I mean, XGod, he's undervalue. Ashton, he'll be undervalue as well, but not as much as Green Spirit and Burnt are. The one thing is, with 100% king HP, they are likely to win a race if it's a race. But Ashton and XGod may just be
Oh,
able
they
to
go
hold.
for King Ups. Okay.
Green should probably build one.
Yeah,
mask
to get the
front,
Coilers down.
so Coilers can help with the tanks.
Yeah.
That's very likely.
Oh, now they're just wasting all of their damage because they're never going to kill the boss, right?
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least this GK had to go down to the
Mm-hmm.
mask, but
The Sovereign now pops off, so it's getting a ton of damage done. But yeah, the Sovereign, the Deep Coilers basically did 0 effective damage. The one thing is it might reduce King damage, and they have got full attack, remember. So I don't think they're going to die. Ashton
XCode
does
has a
leak
full
here.
Badger alive.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
XGod's just easy holding, right?
Xgod is doing so important to hold right here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Burnt and Green, they're taking a ton of damage here on wave 15, dropping down right the way down, under 30% already. And yeah, XGod with a big hold. He's even going to be able to cover, I think, fully in the mid.
Yeah, definitely. Now we are going into game where we can see some full push, maybe from Xgod right now.
Yeah, they're trying to.
Oh,
and
here it
so,
comes, yeah.
Like 17s looks very juicy versus Julian and
Yep.
Green Spirit.
Yep.
I think he's gonna leak to no send though, so it might.
Give the game away somewhat.
And it's not like Green is that bad on 17. He's gonna have like a lot of value in the work circles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but on the other hand, he has 4 Pegasus, which is like 1,000 value or what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
even more, right? 1.5k. So a lot of that value on 17. So
Oh,
And
it's gonna be
Julian
very
is
hard.
definitely the stronger one with the Doppels and the Havens.
XGod even sold some units here, by the way, so if it
Yeah,
wasn't
and he's
obvious that
2,900
he's
value.
full pushing. Oh, but Ashton's just fully prepping his Tantrum Hellraisers for 17, so they've got
Yeah.
a really nice setup here, actually. A really, really nice setup on 17.
Yeah, it's just very nice play. Like if you are suiciding, you know that you either win or lose next wave. So you just need to full prepare for it.
Yep.
And they are doing exactly like that. So very nice play.
And he can even go for tree spam as his like fortified tank, which is pretty efficient.
Yeah, or just exploding and just mop the
Yeah,
full
one
wave,
shot the wave.
right?
Yeah. With the
Either
Tantrum
or.
Hellraisers as well, the AoE combo seems very juicy indeed for Ashton. He's got 800 gold to play with, so let's see what he builds here. We do get the counter suicide play, it seems, coming out from Burnt Das Brot, so he's got 34 workers as well. The thing is, he started pressing that button a lot later than XGod did, so his send is going to be quite a lot smaller than XGod's into him. But it's a good call, right? It's the correct play.
So
It's
we have
a good play, yeah.
the advantage Ashton has is he has full Tantrum Mass, and the advantage Green has is the Hero Aura. So
Yeah.
they're on roughly similar values, a little bit more on Ashton, but
Now, Ashton does receive a bigger send, but not by much. It's only an 800 send into Ashton with a 720 into Green. Burnt and XGod, of course, both are going to leak massively here because they fully pushed the worker button. But Ashton, he is going to leak. How's Green doing? Green's doing very, very well. Let's go back to Ashton again. Perfect tanking, but he does leak.
Oh, wow.
Green, I mean, he's holding the longest, but they have way less King HP. Will this be enough delay? The gate opens instantly on both sides. This is so close, but I think with 30% it's just not enough. And yes, X Crash are your July Nova Cup champions. Well played.
Well played, well played. They was kind of behind in this game and they pulled it off. So very nice play. Like in the final game, just keep it cool and go for the plays. But congratulations to Green and Julian. They played. Oh, sorry.
They played really well, right? Green Spirit and Burnt Das Brot. They played phenomenally well. Phenomenally well. And it all came down, I think, to this Wave 13 hold from Ashton Butcher, right? Because these guys were behind. Let's take a look at the graph. Yeah, they were heavily behind, in fact. Jules was giving them a 39% win probability after Wave 13. And yeah, the fact that Ashton's able to hold there is just clearly game winning, because then they can get this killer damage done on Wave 15, and that just opens up XGod's suicide push into Burnt, who was theoretically the holder on 17, but as a result he had to full push into Ashton, and he did get the leak and it was faster, but they just did not have the King HP, and that really is what it came down to at the end of the day. A very, very close race. And what better way, by the way, to end such a close best of 5 series than a split second King race between these two teams.
Yeah, that was nice. And the Sui call ended up working out.
Yeah.
Not like Julian made a decent read to go for the Sui himself, but I mean, Green was obviously worse on that wave, right? So
Yeah.
he couldn't manage to delay long enough.
Alright, I'm whispering Ashton and XGod. Let's see if we can get those guys in here for a winner's interview, because I'm dying to speak to these guys after a game like that. Ashton is saying he's unavailable, unfortunately. Let's see if XGod is around. Alright, XGod is coming, so let's have a chat with XGod. Alright, can I bring him in here?
Uh,
Hello.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
Hello.
X-God, my friend, congratulations. What an insane series that was.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, that was very, very, very insane. It's best of five going the distance. Just what everyone has been waiting for, I guess, right?
Yeah. For sure. I mean, and even that last game really came down to a race with some really
Yeah.
clutch holds by you guys on wave 13, turning the game around because it felt like you were pretty behind at that point.
I mean, yeah. Around the early to mid game, there was a couple waves, like 8. That was my bad, and then 10, we both fell to hold. So by that point, we're definitely behind. But on 13 was a nice call by Ashton to hold and not send, and we were able to take back the lead on 15.
Yeah, really nice presence of mind there from yourself and Ashton. Even though you must have been feeling under the pressure, you just decided to risk it to win the biscuit. And yeah, here you are, the July Nova Cup champions. Really impressive stuff from you guys.
Thank you. Oh, by the way, so here's something funny. Okay, so my keyboard, there's one key that's broken. That's the K key,
Okay.
and that's the shortcut for sending imps, and that's what happened in. So every time you see me sending imps, it's probably because my keyboard was not functioning.
It's always after income, right?
Yeah, the imps on 16. That was.
Oh, very cool, very cool. How X-God, tell me how you and Ashton felt after that game number 1 where you were dominating versus Burnt and Green, and then they just came out of the blue with that like Hail Mary play that won them the game, because it felt like a massive comeback from those guys in game 1.
Yeah, oh my god, game 1 feels like hours ago, not gonna lie. But so what happened was we knew they wanted to do something like a huge send, and at some point we read it's gonna be 12, and we decided to not send anything on 11, which was a mistake after that we reviewed the game, because the play was to just full send on 11 since they're both gonna be undervalued and overpushed.
Yep.
And getting a leak on 11 would just help us holding 12. And also I wouldn't say trolling a little bit, but I was like really committing to holding 12, and I was really close to holding 12. Like every unit was on like 10% HP, but that was like just too much, and we failed to come back after that. I mean, it's a good play by them going 12 forward.
Yeah, that was insane play by them. But you said you wanted to send audio 11 or something because you didn't send, and they made like super good pro league with Silverwork.
Yeah, because we decided to not send 11, to not prolong the wave. But after the game, when I checked it again, I feel like the best play was to just full send, because I knew they're gonna be undervalued and want to pro leak. So if we send full, then they would be leaking like way more.
Yeah, like
So
that's the issue, right? You don't want to make it longer so you don't get biggest send, but you get punished if they actually grid and leak.
Yeah.
So that was really nice play.
That was the play that we missed, but it's a good play by them.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it feels like the two of you were just so evenly matched here. Like the whole series was very back and forth, a lot of close race finishes to the games, and it really could have gone either way here in game number 5 as well. But at the end of the day, yourself and Ashton turned out to be the better players, and you did clutch this one. You are the July champions. You must be feeling pretty good about yourself right now.
Yeah, that was very exciting, and I mean, it could have gone either way, right? Like it was a race very, very, very close. It's like maybe a 1 or 2 second difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, if they didn't send you on 13 the last game and they just go 15 and they protect the 15 send, I think you will be in like big trouble there. But they,
Well, we looked because we looked really bad on 12 and 11 for the wave 13. So I think that's the send was okay, but Ashton just clutch hold.
Yeah, that was really perfect for him, and he even managed to clear up all of your leak in the mid as well. That was just amazing.
Yeah, and on 15 I was able to hold his leak, and
yeah.
And I just think as well that coming down to a race on 17 really was the perfect end to this series, because, like we were saying, like the two teams are just almost perfectly matched. It felt like you had, both of you had some really good reads, some really good mind games, some really good plays back and forth, and then for the whole thing to come down, game number 5 down to the wire, a race back and forth on 17 with 1 second, 2 second difference. It was just perfect ending to a perfect series.
Absolutely, I have to agree.
And did you have a ton of fun playing XCOD?
Of course, I'm thrilled.
Nice. All right, guys. I mean, this is
It's. I'll tell you what. It's been a while. I felt this good playing Legion.
nice. I
I
mean, it's been a while since we've had you on the winners podium as well, right? So it's great to have you back here in the winners interview, I think.
Yeah, I've been a little bit more preoccupied with other stuff and in life pretty much this year, so I've not been very present in Legion or in tournament in general. But yeah, glad to be back.
Nice one, dude. Nice one. I mean, we're all glad to have you as well because you've always been a phenomenal player, one of the best that there ever has been. And now, again, we get to see exactly why that is with a really impressive performance from yourself and Ashton, of course. Though, having said that, I think Burnt and Green really should be proud of their play today because they played phenomenally well as well. Gave you guys a very, very close 5-game series. So big shout out to those guys.
Of course, they're amazing players and very good opponents, and credit to them for sure.
Yeah, 100%, dude, 100%. All right, guys, I think I'm just going to do a quick shout out to all the people that need thanking. So a massive thank you to all of the tournament organisers, that's Schnerd, Natodog, Slinky Dinky, all the guys behind the scenes making sure that the tournament runs smoothly. Huge shout out to Auto Attack Games, of course, for building the game that we know and love. And really, really great to see that the marketing push has gone well this weekend. Legion hit an all-time high with over 6,000 concurrent players today, which is just brilliant news. I hope the game continues to grow because we love to see it. I hope all of you new guys in Twitch chat have been enjoying the show as well. This really has been some phenomenal Legion, so I hope you've enjoyed the show there. And of course, a huge shout out to my co-casters, Offmer and Adams. Finally got Adams on the cast here. This was something that I've been trying to do for months and months and months. It's been a massive pleasure, guys. It's been really, really good to have you here.
Yeah, it was fun and a really exciting game, so I'm glad that it worked out today.
Yeah, I think it's something with the TriCasts always bring out the Game 5 finals.
So, something that brings out the magic, right?
Yeah.
All right. XCOD, do you want any final words for the stream before we end?
Well, thanks for having me here, and every team in this tournament was amazing. There wasn't a series that we felt like the opponent weren't good. It just shows how good the competition is at the moment.
Definitely. And I think the new Division 1 format really helps with that as well. Create some very tight games, even on day one, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So shout out to Green Spirit, actually, your opponent, because a lot of the new format is his idea. So, credit where due. But yeah, okay, guys, I think on that note, that is about all that we have time for today. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the show. And for all of you new players, Nova Cup is a monthly event. So if you've enjoyed what you've watched today, then make sure you're back here for the August Cup. We're going to have some more spicy games for everyone to see. And on that note, guys, goodbye.